So.
All right, it's your show, baby. Bring us in.
Is it time to go?
It's the Livewell, episode 1.
That's right. Welcome to the inaugural edition of the Livewell here at Fish North Georgia. I know we've been calling it other things, but we officially are starting the Livewell tonight, and we want to appreciate you guys that are tuning in, and on YouTube and Facebook. If you decide to watch this at a later date, we want to say thank you for watching it. Again, on YouTube, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we got a great episode tonight. We're just going to talk some fishing with a. How do we want to introduce you as a 2022 member of the National Professional Fishing League?
Yeah, sure.
Is that good? Logan Millsaps. He is a local stick around here, and we look forward to getting to know him a little more tonight. And again, I've got Mr. Ryan Sheffield, who's got jigs on his head for some reason. I really don't know why, but
in his formal shirt tonight.
In his formal collared Phoenix shirt. We do appreciate you. That is the ugliest thing. We're going to lose every single viewer on that and that alone. Can we screenshot that? Can we screenshot that so we can do that later?
Yeah, I don't know if we can.
That's on the floor. And we've got Jonathan Farmer has joined us tonight. Another good local hammer here. And you are, buddy. Listen, don't sell yourself short.
Blowing smoke up my hind end already.
That's it. That's what we do here. So. Let's take care of a little bit of business. This episode is brought to you by Nofo Brewery, just north of Cumming on Highway 400. As you can see in the wide shot, can you give me a wide shot there, Paul? All right, we've got a couple of their fine craft beers here. What are we having? What is the name of yours? Can you pronounce it?
I don't even know how to say this.
It's a
Kettle Stick.
Stein. Kettle Stein. It's a Marzen, and to be honest, I don't even know what the hell a Marzen is, but it tastes really good. So, again, we want to thank Nofo for supporting us, and I want to read something off their website, just something a little bit different. You can go to Nofo Brewery, NofoBrewery.com. Who's Travis Tritt?
I don't love you anymore.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Let me read this. They've got a couple of groups that you can become a member of, and I want to read this one. It's called the Nolly. And it is a lifetime membership for $995. I'm on their website right now, and I want to read this stuff you get. The first beer for you and a guest for your first 5 visits is included. And trust me, you'll want that. Exclusive access and use of the member lounge at the tap room. You guys are killing me already. A personalized mug that will that they'll keep for you at Nofo and serve your beer in on each visit. I didn't know they did that. That's pretty cool. VIP invitation to our anniversary parties, member swag, which is a t-shirt, hat, set of pint glasses, coaster, stickers, a 10% discount on all merchandise purchases for life. Notifications, and this is important, notifications of new beer, spirits, and special bottle releases before the general public. So you get to taste all the great new stuff before anybody else does. And again, a VIP invitation to future member events. So that's Nofo Brewery. Again, just north. Oh my Lord.
What's more VIP than that?
There's nothing more VIP.
You can find me in the club.
You look like you go.
He'll be back in that members only lounge.
Oh, the members only lounge out there. So again, we want to thank Nofo. All right. And again, like I said, I say it every week. My kids love it, and good times. It's a great atmosphere. I know they do cornhole.
Nathan, you need to get off in
so.
stereo. You need to get on something else because these mics are working fine.
Are they working fine? They're
He
good.
says
So
it sounds like we're talking to a trash can.
we're talking to a trash can already. How about does my mic sound good? All right, so let's do that. But again, if you're watching on Facebook, all right, make sure you go to www.streamyard.com/Facebook and enter your name. I got it right that time, didn't I? All in one. It must be the Kletterstein, so like that talking. But anyway, we want to thank you. This is going to be, I guess, a lot of you guys around here know Logan, but this is going to be kind of the coming out party for those of you that don't. We're going to talk about,
Coming out.
Coming out. Well, not that closet, though. He's coming out. Whose mic is bad? I know
Nobody's mic is bad.
Good. We're good. It's on your side right there. So anyway, again, thank you to Nofo. And so we're going to talk about the National Professional Fishing League. As many of you who have followed our show in the past know, Jesse Millsaps, which is actually Logan's father, is a current participant in the 2021. He actually has qualified for the Classic. What place is he currently in points? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it's 13th.
13th out of how many?
110.
110. All right, again. And so Jesse's a great friend of ours up here at Fish North, Georgia. And so we know that if anything has rubbed off on Logan, he's going to do just as well in 2022. So how you feeling?
I'm excited.
You're excited?
I am very
Are
excited.
you? Very good. We're glad that you showed up tonight. And so, again, in your every one of you guys, Nathan and Lee Gibson and Brian, David Newcomb, and if I missed, if it's already scrolled up and I've missed a few of you, thank you very much for joining us. If you've got questions, Farmer and Sheffield must be social distancing. Let me tell you what happened earlier today. All right, I've got to let this out. Listen. So Farmer needed his back popped, and this was about, about 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning. Mm-hmm. And so Ryan comes up right behind him and gives him this big old bear hug. And I'm telling you, there was more Brokeback Mountain going on in Fish North, Georgia than I care to talk about. But it was two big bears up there loving on each other. And so,
Just know that I'm your huckleberry.
huh?
Hey, you ain't my huckleberry.
Somebody is somebody's huckleberry.
I'm your huckleberry.
And so
That's a new jig color. We're gonna have
new jig color, the huckleberry.
Huckleberry.
New jig color, True Grit's coming out, the huckleberry. And actually, we are releasing 2 new jigs tomorrow, colors. So look for that on the True Grit Facebook page. So anyway, let's jump right in and let's let everybody get to know you. And then we're going to talk a lot of fishing techniques and stuff tonight. And we're really excited about this. So tell us a little bit about your decision to want to fish the National Professional Fishing League.
Well, honestly, I mean, the time was just right. I mean, I'm at that point where I was at a good standing just to take off and run with it. So here we are. I mean,
What's your history of fishing up to this point?
Right. So I actually started out, I was blessed enough to be able to fish in high school. I actually got to fish in college for a year. I fished some BFLs, and here we are.
Here we are. Now, the National Professional Fishing League is invitation only.
It is.
So you have to apply and be accepted. And how did that make you feel when you found out that you had made it?
Words don't even describe what I was going through. I was so excited. I still, to this day, don't even know the schedule, but I'm ready to go to work.
You're ready to go. And you've had a year following your dad in this, so you kind of know how the league works. For those that are not familiar with the NPFL, tell them a little bit about it.
So last year, obviously, it was the first year they ever got to fish.
Which is actually this year, right?
Yeah, well, it's this year. So there's 6 events total,
right.
I'm pretty sure,
Mm-hmm.
and then the championship. So we don't have co-anglers or anything like that. It's 5 fish limit. The cool thing about it is that everybody gets to fish 3 days. So even if you're, 15, 20 places out of a check line, you can come back on that 3rd day and get a check. I mean, you just got to fish to the end. I mean, that's it.
That's right. And you fish a lot of different lakes.
That's correct.
That's one thing I've noticed this year, and I think is really cool, that the types of lakes that you fish are not lakes that we've seen. I guess, what was the one in Texas that you did?
Wright Patman.
Okay, I had
Yep.
never heard of that
No.
lake, before.
No, we hadn't either. I was actually trying to help him find information on it. And, I mean, we'd get on Google and there would be nothing. I mean, it was like a hole-in-the-wall lake, but it was right where
It was. It was totally cool. And what a cool thing is that they put cameras in 10 boats every single day. And Jesse's had the camera in his boat, and I'm just making sure I'm checking all the comments right there, make sure I don't miss any questions or anything. But what's cool is they take 10 anglers every day. They got a camera. You can follow those throughout the day.
Yep.
And I guess on Saturday, the top 10 have the cameras in the boat, which, Jesse has had it as well. And what's cool is getting to watch somebody that you know. One thing that has been brought up to us here at the store when people come in and we're talking about it, this league is a little bit different.
Yep.
It is, everybody knows about the other leagues, and I'll be quite honest, I don't watch a lot of professional bass fishing, but I've watched every one of these tournaments, and I like it because, and I don't want to use this term in the wrong way, and it's definitely not derogatory, but it's like the guys that fish the NPFL are guys like us.
Mm-hmm.
It just, they're more relatable.
Yeah.
It's one of the more relatable things, and I encourage anybody. You can go to the nationalprofessionalfishingleague.com, and you can watch the live broadcast all day long. The announcers, who are the announcers on that?
Luke Duncan and David Dudley.
David Dudley.
Yep.
And then you got Fat Cat Newton.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
doing a lot of. Listen, it's Fat Cat says he is a special dude. Let's just say that. But you can watch it all day long, and I'm not knocking the ESPN broadcasts and stuff like that, but you know they actually get involved. I mean, you can see them rooting for the guys and stuff like that, and it's really cool to watch. I encourage you. Now the Classic is coming up. We think it was November 11th through 13th.
I'm pretty sure it's November 11th through 13th.
Yeah,
on
and
Nicky
Jesse
Jack.
has qualified for that, so we'll definitely be rooting for our hometown boy in that. And but I encourage you all to watch all the days of it. And they're beginning to get a very big social media presence. You can follow them on Facebook. They do Twitter.
Yep.
They do a little bit of everything like that. So it's really cool to watch. And the announcers do a really good job, like I said, of actually showing a little bit of emotion too. I like that.
Yeah.
That they're like, you know, and when a guy gets a big fish, you know, they do that well. And also, now I know sometimes cell service prohibits this, but when they catch a fish, they actually report it right then and there.
Yes.
It's not the official weight until they weigh in, but you can kind of follow the anglers all day long.
Right.
And I like watching it. It scrolls across the bottom. I'm always looking for Jesse. There's another angler that I'm familiar with from Georgia, William Fletcher, who's actually done pretty well the last couple of tournaments. He's come on real good. And it's pretty cool to watch people you know do that. And then who's the fella that does the announcing at the end? The weigh-in.
Al.
Al.
Al, yeah.
Is that boom? Is that
Yep.
the boom?
Here comes the boom.
Here comes the boom and all
Yep.
that. So he gets really into it. He does a fantastic job at the weigh-in. And another cool thing is that everyone gets to pull up in their boat right then and there. So you get to see them come in their boats. You get to see them, you know, come up. They get the fish out. They weigh it in. So it's a really cool, definitely my favorite by far of the new tournament trails. And it's only going to grow and grow and grow. And next year, now, correct me if I'm wrong, the field increases a little bit?
Yeah, we actually see the field actually tops off at 125.
Right.
And the last I heard from Brad, it is a full field next year.
A full field.
Yes.
Now,
And we got some sticks coming too.
that's what I was getting ready to bring up. Now, here's the cool thing. Logan's getting ready to drop a few names of some other professional anglers that have seen what the National Professional Fishing League is all about and want to be a part of it. And so I assume they applied, went through the same process as you did,
Yep.
and was accepted. So maybe just tell everybody out there a little bit about who's coming to fish with you guys. What you're going to fish against next year.
Well, we got a few people. I'll start out with actually one of my good friends. He's from Georgia. It's Cody Parker.
Okay.
He is. And then we got Buddy Gross. I know everybody knows him. He's from Chickamauga.
That's right.
Dayton, that boat. And then you got Greg Hackney. Of course, everybody knows him. Strike King Pro. All
Right.
that good stuff. And then Patrick Walters. He's another one that's coming from. And all three of them are coming from the Elite Series.
From the Elite Series. So they have looked and they have seen what this is about. Now, one thing that's really cool, too, is what lakes is the trail fishing is a question. If I miss any other questions, Farmer, help me out there when we get, so I don't miss them. But let's talk about this year's lakes. Just tell everybody what the lakes were that they're fishing this year. Now, Nickajack is the classic.
Right. So let's see, where did they go? They started out at Eufaula, and then they went to Florida to, I think it was Toho, I'm pretty sure. Then we went to Texas, which is Wright Patman. And then we went to a TVA, which is Pickwick. And then
You had one in Oklahoma.
yeah, the Grand Lake. That was actually the last one, but the
Right.
one in between Pickwick and Grand Lake was in Wisconsin, and that was at Winnebago.
Winnebago. So these are lakes that, Winnebago, I knew nothing about, everybody knows about Eufaula and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But being down here in the South, I knew nothing about Winnebago,
Right.
Wright Patman, the lake that you just said in Oklahoma,
Grand Lake.
Grand Lake. And so it's not the easiest of schedules.
No.
And here's the cool thing about it is you can't just be good at one specific, technique. You've got to be able to fish a lot of different ways.
Correct.
Now, they have not dropped the 2022 schedule yet.
No, they have not.
Now, for those that are out there watching, if you're from the league, we highly recommend Lake Lanier. I think that would be a very good lake for you guys to come to. A lot of exposure. It's the big lake. around here. So Nathan wants to know, what did you have to do to qualify for this?
So basically, you just have to send in an application pretty much of like what your accomplishments were and all that stuff. So I started out fishing with college and the BFLs and all that stuff.
And being around with your
Right,
dad,
yeah.
they knew you and knew your reputation.
That's
all
right.
that. Here's another cool thing about this league, and Logan and I have discussed this. I've discussed it with Jesse. Character actually plays an important part of who gets in. So I'm not saying I know this for sure, but I'm sure there have been guys that have applied that may have had well-known incidents or something like that. And like, Logan has not told me anybody like that, but I'm sure that goes into the thinking
Oh yeah.
when
For
picking out the anglers like that. So what do you think about not only, we'll talk about your dad a little bit in a second, but when you go to fish against a Buddy Gross or a Greg Hackney or your friend Cody and all that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you still got to go fishing. I mean, I'm not going to change the way I practice or the way I fish just to try to, I've got to beat, Greg Hackney. I've got to beat Patrick Walters or all them guys. I mean, it's not going to change anything.
But it does help to bring some legitimacy
Oh,
to
right.
this trail when you get those names that
Absolutely.
are interested in like that. So it is. I'm telling you guys seriously, you need to follow them. It's pretty cool. I don't watch a lot of professional fishing, but I have watched every single one of these tournaments, and I enjoy it. And it gives Ryan and I something to talk about. Quit yawning. I'm gonna get you in here in a second where you can talk and ask questions. I know I'm
bad timing. You look good.
bad time. I look over and you're yawning. He's actually had a long day. I have definitely worked his rear end off today making
All
jigs
week.
and all that all week. So
I was here Tuesday till 8.
that's right. We had to work late. He's not used to working late. Let's talk a little bit about you now.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and get your dad out of the way, too, when we're talking about you. You're going to fish against your dad. We
Yep.
realize that that's going to be a pretty big storyline going
Yeah,
into the
I think
2022
so.
season.
Yep.
What does it mean to be able to get to fish professionally against your dad?
Well, honestly, how many people do you know that actually get to go do this against
Oh,
their
heck,
dad?
I don't know
I get
any
to
of them.
travel this country with my father. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just, what else can I ask for,
Right.
Honestly.
It is.
Seriously.
It's definitely cool. Now, let me ask you this.
Oh, I'm definitely not going to let him beat me,
That's
by
what I'm
the
getting
way.
ready to
That's
say.
not going to happen.
You going to take it to him?
I'm going to try.
You come. Let's just say, and just for fun, y'all probably going to be rooming together.
Yeah.
You come down to a tournament on the third day.
Yep.
He's 1 and you're 2, or you're 1 and he's 2. You gonna
It
talk
is
to him
what it
about
is.
what? You gonna talk to him about what's going on?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we'll talk. We
Oh,
always
come on
talk.
now, come on now.
We
be
do.
honest.
I'm serious. We do. We always help each other. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But now we're talking about. Now listen, that's good. You did the right. You said the right thing for family.
Yeah,
I would beat my mama in a game of checkers if we were playing.
we'll see.
What would it mean to you to be able? Your dad's pretty accomplished.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What would it mean to you to beat him?
Oh, I'd have.
And you can be honest.
I'd have some bullets for the gun. I can tell you that he would never let that one down. I promise.
And the same probably goes for you.
Oh
like,
yeah. He's gonna rub it in all the time.
That's
I'm
tot-
sure he'll be wanting some side bets and all that stuff. Hey, let's bet this. Hey, let's bet that.
Is that a common thing in the pro tournaments?
Oh yeah. Well, I
Little
mean,
side pots that
well,
nobody knows about.
It's possible. We always bet $1 on the first fish every
time you go.
Every time we go.
How
Even if
oft-
we just go to Lanier, it's $1 first fish.
How often do you win?
50-50.
50-50. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. What's up? I'm going to assume that is Tatum. Hey, Tatum, go to bed. I know you're tired. You don't need to be watching this stuff. We're talking about fishing and all that. So Ike is returning to bass in 2022. Well, he needs to get off that kayak, that's for sure. So
What's wrong with the kayak?
listen.
Uh,
I
we're
like the.
fisting-
Here goes
we're
the kayak
fisting.
guy over there.
Oh, boy.
I like the kayak stuff. I just ain't crazy about watching Ike do it, and I'm sure he's very good at it. So, but here's the thing with Ike: he can't do no break dancing on the kayak,
No.
can he? He can't do all that dancing. Has he grown out of that? Does he still do that stuff?
I honestly have no idea.
I have no idea either. So, anyway, okay. So let's get into talking, and we love your dad. He's a great. And what is real quick? What's your dad doing this year with the high school?
So he's actually running the GASHF.
I
something
can't-
like that.
it's too
Georgia
many-
High School Fishing. That's the abbreviation for it.
That's
and,
right.
It's going to be special. I can tell you that. That's.
It's
all
going to be
I'm gonna
run
say.
right,
Yeah.
and Fish North Georgia, along with Academy, are the two big sponsors
Mm-hmm.
into that, and we're actually really proud to be able to be a part of it. I can tell you that if you have a kid that wants to fish, in that high school thing. We have one actually back here sitting down listening to the show. The prizes this year are going to be outstanding. So Jesse has made sure that the kids are going to be rewarded for coming out and fishing. So you're not going to just get a certificate piece of paper that you can hang on the wall. You're going to go home with some stuff, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, let's do the old camp breakdance in this kayak. Absolutely. And so nothing's wrong with the kayak, guys. All right, I love you guys, except for when I'm 15 foot off the bank casting at this bank, and you guys decide that y'all own that first 3 foot of water right there. So. Other than that, we love you, and I'm just messing with you. Now let's talk about you fishing. Okay. We talked upstairs before we come down here. Describe yourself and your style of fishing to everybody. What you do best.
I would say I'm more of a run and gun type of guy. I like to pull up to a place, make 3 or 4 casts, and if they ain't there, I'm going to the next one.
Electronics big with you?
Yeah, time of year.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a time of year factor. Everybody knows about the live scopes and all that stuff now, which, believe it or not, I actually don't have one on my boat.
Really?
I do not.
And, are you pro or against the live scopes? And be honest. Be honest.
To an extent.
Do you think it hurts? Do you think it is hurting fishing competitively?
No. Well, I think it's hurting fishing on the live, like people actually watching, because every time you turn on somebody live, that's all the anglers are doing, looking at that screen.
Right.
Not talking, not doing anything, just looking.
So more video game fishing.
Right, it is.
Now, could you envision a day when something like that is scaled back or outlawed? Or is there too much money already invested in it?
I'm going to say no. I don't think they'll ever take it away.
Okay, they'll ever take it away. But you personally don't like to do that.
No. Oh, yeah. I've had one on my boat before. Yes, I have done it before.
Just not comfortable with it?
It's one thing I'll have to play with a lot more. I mean, the one I only had it for probably 2 or 3 months.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, that thing is phenomenal to find brush piles with. I mean, that's what I used it for on Lanier. I would literally pull up to a place, scan it. If there was a brush pile there within 100 feet, I could find it.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it was.
What kind of advantage does it give an angler?
I've always been told, and by like John Soak Up, however you say his name, and stuff like that, if you don't have one on your boat, you're at such a big disadvantage. Yeah, because
and we're finding that trickling down even into the electric only world, the kayak world, all that kind of stuff like that. Nathan says it makes top water easy. Tyler Minix, I want to see folks work for a fish. Don't personally see the appeal of fishing on a computer screen. I get that. I get that.
That's like using sonar. I mean, honestly, like in the wintertime when you're drop shotting fish, you're still looking at a computer screen.
Okay, Facebook user wants to know, ask Logan, can he hang with the Millsaps
And Frasers.
and the Fraser team? Explain a little bit about that comment.
So, Robbie Fraser, he's actually the guy who travels with my dad.
Okay.
So
all right.
that's who that
Thanks
is.
for tuning in.
Yep.
Casey Blanton says it's a game changer, and I want to tell everybody, listen, hopefully in 2 weeks, we've got it scheduled. Casey is going to come on if everything works out with his schedule, and we're going to do a jig fishing show. Now, I say that, and I preface that by saying Casey came into the shop today, and him and Ryan got up there, and it was watching 2 kids at Christmas sit up there and talk about jig fishing. Mm-hmm. Casey is a diehard hammer on Allatoona, and he is a diehard jig fisherman. And to listen to him and Ryan talk about it was very entertaining. I mean, and it was like information was just kicking and kicking and kicking. So, let's see. Got one on my kayak. Well done anyway. I'm not sure yet. Well, a lot of guys are taking the sonar to the kayak game, and it's changing that a lot as well.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I liked about watching your father is earlier in the year was sight fishing. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I have talked about it, and you said that is your favorite way of sight fish, is to sight fish.
Correct.
Now, at this point of the show, my 2 compadres here, Ryan, you can scoot up to the microphone. Now we're getting ready to talk technique, so you can join in and ask some questions while you're smiling at me and looking at me real. I don't even know what that look is. What? I don't know. And Farmer.
That's bedroom eyes.
Ooh.
Bedroom
Hungry
eyes
eyes.
is not
Hungry
something
eyes.
I need to see. Hungry eyes.
Hungry eyes.
You're lucky I'm not making you sing tonight. Just letting you know. So
I don't sing.
yeah, well, nobody that really can. Yeah, we get demonetized every time we sing, so I have to give that up. We will be having a question of the week, though, about halfway through the show, so you guys stay in. Did we even decide what we were giving away?
Jigs.
We'll give away some jigs. And
Ryan
will tie some jigs, and we'll send you some True Grit jigs. And I think it's Nick Treadwell. I haven't forgotten about you. I've just been working Ryan to the bone trying to get some big orders out. And everybody that buys a True Grit jig. Hey, listen, I want to tell you this story, too. Andrew Murphy come in earlier today, and he was fishing. I don't know if it was Notley or Chateau. It was Chateau last week, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. He actually was fishing our fall crawl, and he threw it out, set the hook, got the fish in, and the fish actually in the live well spit out another fall crawl.
Look at that logo.
So you like that logo right there?
Like
it looks
logo.
good. There you go. That's going to be on Logan's jersey this year if you saw it on Facebook. But I don't think I've ever heard anybody catching a fish on a jig that spit out another jig. So if anybody's watching and you were fishing a fall crawl up on Chattooga and you lost it, Murphy's got it in his boat. So I think that's actually kind of cool. Sight fishing. Let's break it down.
All right.
All right, you're the expert right now, and then everybody will join in. And you guys got any questions on sight fishing? Let's go. So tell everybody how you like to approach sight fishing. What's the most important thing? We talked about this already.
Ooh, the most important thing, 100%, no doubt about it, is sunglasses. If you can't see the fish, you can't catch it.
So a good pair of polarized sunglasses is
That's
number
correct.
one.
Absolutely.
Wait
Yep.
till what?
Yeah.
Oh, eagle eye will get them. That's right. Here, before we get on that, I got a question. Are they biting on Lanier like they are on the Coosa right now? Have a trip to Lanier planned in the coming weeks. I can tell you right now that everybody that's coming here, and Eric, who was sitting over there, said, I guess it's feast or famine. For some people, it's on fire. For others, Farmer, maybe you can jump in on this.
Well, for me, it was I was seeing the fish. They just wasn't eating what I was throwing. They'd
Right.
come up and turn off of it. Come up, turn off of it. So you can tweak your baits. I was just not fast enough to tweak it to the point
You
where
weren't-
they would engulf it.
you're not
They'd hit it, but I couldn't
You're not
get
a
them hooked.
quick tweaker. Is that
Not
what
a
you're
quick
saying?
tweaker.
Okay, as long as you don't twerk, we're all right like
I'm
that.
I'm set in my ways.
Robbie Frazier, I know he can't beat his dad doing that. Jesse has an eagle eye for it. Now, okay,
I've done it once or twice.
once or twice. Again, okay. So tips for sight fishing in the summer, fall, anything other than the spawn. Well, all year, you can sight fish to a point. But let's take, what's your favorite time of year to do it?
Oh, spring.
In the spring.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
100%.
definitely when you're fishing for money, you got to know how to do this.
It helps a lot. Now, it's a little bit tougher to do on like a 3-day event like I'm getting into, so that's something I'm going to have to work on quite a bit.
Right.
I have never had to salvage fish for 3 days, really.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely the spring is the best time. Now, like in Florida, believe it or not, they actually have a spawn period from like December to May. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, they can spawn for 6-8
And
months.
Just because of the weather down
yeah,
there?
Just
or-
because of the weather.
That's interesting. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what is your setup when you go sight fishing? What kind of rod, reel we using, line, all that stuff?
Right. Well, I'm gonna start off saying, first off, every fish is different. You can't go up to more than one fish 9 out of 10 times with the same thing and catch something. So you always got to go with the flow of the fish. That's
Okay.
the best thing I can tell somebody. Bait casting wise, I try to stay 15-pound and lighter. I don't like throwing, big heavy line, especially in clean water. Texas rig and jigs most of the time with bait casters. Texas rig more like, because I'm not a big fan of sight fishing with jig because of the fact of when the fish can get it, the head can pin and it'll keep the hook from hooking the fish.
Okay.
Believe it or not. So that's my go-to
So-
Texas rig.
Texas rig.
Mhm.
All right, you got a favorite?
I throw a rage bug or a rage crawl, something small. You don't want to throw something too big. Like you need to give that fish enough, size that it can actually eat the bait. You don't want it to bite the pinchers or, all that good stuff.
That's why I do it with a Ned rig, people.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you,
You
Ned
can.
rig will work on sight fishing. Now,
Mhm.
you're going to lose a few, but I'm definitely telling you that's that. Now, particular rod brand and stuff like that?
I'm actually with Fitzgerald this year, so this year I'll actually be running a Fitzgerald. I try to stay between a 7-foot and 7.5 medium heavy. I don't want something that's too stiff that I'm going to yank that hook out of the fish's mouth.
Okay.
So medium heavy is kind of my go-to, but you need to play with it. It also depends on how hard you can set the hook. You know, I know a lot of people that like to tighten the drag down and just lean into them when they're sight fishing. I don't like doing that because 9 out of 10 times whenever you hook a bed fish, that thing's going crazy. So I like
That
to,
is
you know,
true.
keep my drag a little looser, let that fish play out.
That's perfect. And for those of you that are interested in Fitzgerald rods, Logan has kindly set us up with Fitzgerald. We are starting to carry them here at Fish North Georgia. We've got a few upstairs. Of course, like with everything else, we have more coming in as they become available. So we're really excited to have Fitzgerald in the thing. Now, what ounce weight are you using on your Texas rig?
That depends on how deep the fish is, believe it or not. I mean, I've caught fish, believe it's like looking at them 7 and 8 foot deep before, if the water will allow it. Shallow fish, I try to stay like a quarter, 3/8. I don't like throwing a half because of the fact of whenever you flip in on the fish, that splash sometimes will actually spook the fish away.
Okay.
So, you know, the lighter the better. And that's another thing I can tell you is don't throw right on top of the fish. Don't do that. That's a no-no.
So let's just say you are approaching a bed, and that e-propulsion sign out here is in front of us. You're in the boat where you're at. Do you
Right.
throw across the bed and bring it to it? What is
Absolutely,
the best?
100%.
100%.
Always throw past the bed. And I've actually been in a boat with people that do this before. Like they'll flip on a bed and the fish will swim off. Let that fish come back. Don't keep flipping on the fish and keep spooking it. Let that fish get settled in the bed. And I've also seen people before that you can actually throw whatever your Texas rig, jig, whatever you're throwing, leave it in the bed. I'm not saying leave it there for 10, 15 minutes, but, you know, let that fish get accustomed to that bait. Let it feel, you know, a little comfortable with it being there around the bed, and sometimes that'll actually help you catch them.
I watched your dad earlier this year, again on the MPFL, watching it live. He was working a bed that had a buck and a female on it. Now, I don't know if you remember. You probably know the exact fish I'm talking about.
Yep.
Now, he was trying to. What was interesting is the buck picked it up. He wasn't setting the hook. He was
Right.
letting it go.
Yep.
But he was trying to fire that female up. What is your best thoughts on how to fire that? Do you have a specific, or what are you looking for? How you approach her, things like that.
So, in my opinion, they call it the spot inside the bed. So when you find a bed fish, you know, I've seen beds the size of a seat. I've seen them the size of the front deck of a boat.
Right.
I mean, but there's always a spot in that spot, and if you can ever get that spot dialed in to where she does not like it there, 9 out of 10 times, most of the time you can get them to eat it.
Okay, got another question. I don't know. Did I ask you about the ounce weight you were using
Yeah,
on the Texas
yeah, you
rig?
did.
Okay, so let's go on down to the next one. How deep, Facebook user, how deep can you see them, and what sunglasses are the best?
That just depends on, like up north, those guys see them in like 10, 12 foot of water. I mean, it just depends on your water clarity. And I use Costas. Now, about sunglasses, I actually have 2 different color lenses in my boat. One of them is for bright blue skies, and one of them is for dark. And the bright blue skies, I look through the blue lens, and then obviously the cloudy, I use amber. You know, it brightens up everything a little bit, lets me see just a little bit deeper.
Gotcha. Stephen Barday, glad to see you in the house tonight.
Yeah,
The sweet
That's why I
spot.
bought those. Those are the mixed lens. They've
Yep.
got the blue hue, but they've got the amber
Yeah.
in them, so I don't have to carry 2.
Like that. You got anything you want to add to this conversation, or you waiting till we get on to something more interesting? You're just learning.
Soaking in
I like
all
that. I
info.
listen and learn. I hope you guys out there
I've
learning.
never caught a bedfish for me.
Keep the questions coming.
Yeah.
I never try and do it because I don't know what to do, so I just leave them alone.
Well, what was interesting with the way your dad was approaching that fish that day was the buck. He was trying to get the female fired up,
Right.
and that was, I mean, wasn't easy. And eventually, he had to just take the buck because he needed to weigh one in. What's the longest you have ever worked on a bedfish?
Oh, I mean, I can spend an hour on one sometimes, but I mean, usually I can walk up to him, listen to me, troll up to him and
Right.
see, and tell you pretty quick if it's going to bite or if it's not, just because of the way the fish is acting. I mean, I have flipped on, you know, big fish before, and they take off and they don't come back.
Explain what exactly are you looking for in how that fish is acting?
All right. Well, if you'll pay attention on a bedfish, they do this circle pattern around the bed. They try not to leave it. They try not to go very far. One, because they have to protect it from bluegills and all that good stuff. You know, so if the tighter the circle the fish is doing around the bed, 9 out of 10 times means it's going to be easier to catch, just because you can get that fish to lock on. And what I mean by lock on, I'm talking that fish will sit in one place and you can make the same flip 10, 15, 20 times, however long it takes, and eventually that fish will grab it.
That's pretty interesting. What is the best bait for a bedding fish?
I throw a Texas rig. rage bug, believe it or not, the little one. Don't throw that big magnum one. You want something a little small. You know, make sure that fish can inhale it and eat it all the way.
What is the biggest fish you've caught off a bed?
I caught a 780 something on Lanier 2 years ago.
Largemouth?
Yeah, largemouth.
Let me ask you this, just to kind of put a little controversy in it. What do you think about people who say that bed fishing is not sportsman? Not the sporting thing to do.
It's a lot harder than what people think. I mean, it really is, because
Now you're
It
fishing
takes-
for money now, so that's a whole different ballgame.
I mean, I'm fishing for money, so I mean it's fair game either way. That's why in the rules. Now, if somebody's just going through, foul hooking them, I don't like that. That if you don't think you can catch that fish, don't foul hook it. Just take a picture with it. And I've seen people do it before, and that's not right in my opinion. But it is what it is. Yeah, I mean,
What is the biggest mistake somebody can make in trying to sight fish?
getting
For-
too close to the fish.
How far do you normally stay back?
I try to stay at least a boat length.
At least a boat length.
Yeah, that's a good estimate.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, sight fishing doesn't just include bedded fish.
No.
Now, let's just say, what are some other instances or situations where sight fishing comes into play?
Let's say like on Lake Seminole, let's use this for example.
Mhm.
You got all that milfoil and hydrilla and stuff up under the water that you can't see without sunglasses. I'm talking about individual clumps. I'm not talking about like a whole field of it.
Right.
And if you were on a good pattern with it, you could actually put your sunglasses on and call your cast. That'd be a good way to sight fish too.
Right. Now, do you throw swim jigs?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's talk a little. Okay. Facebook user. I bet this is your dad. Jesse, if this is you, who's better at sight fishing, you or your dad? Let's just go ahead and start the controversy right now.
Well, he taught me, so.
Okay, he taught you,
Yeah,
but,
he
but
taught me about everything I know. so-
everybody wants to teach their son and their children to be better than them.
That's right.
Can you whip your dad? And be honest.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay.
mean,
Be honest.
It's fishing. I mean, that's just the way it goes. He could beat me. I could beat him. All it takes is one lucky fish, one tournament. That's all it takes.
I like these comments that are coming in right there, Tyler. If every betting fish could be caught on the first flip, where'd it come up there? It wouldn't be fair since that ain't what's up. Okay, that sounds pretty good like that. Stephen Bardet, a lot of times if you're not sight fishing, you're fishing for fifth. That's pretty true. I mean, you got to get
Yeah.
that kick. There's a lot of size on the bed if you can get on
That's
there.
right. Especially the first wave. That first wave that comes up usually is the biggest ones.
And Robbie Frazier, I like that FX hat. Great rods. Yes, sir. We carry a full line of them upstairs here at Fish North Georgia. And I actually fish nothing but FXs. I do like them. The Gen 3s are fantastic. So, I've had very good luck with them like that when I actually do catch a fish. So I am not like the guys that are surrounding me, but FX is definitely, it's a good quality rod in a good price range like that. So you got anything you want to ask the master here on sight fishing there, Ryan or Jonathan? Either one of y'all can jump in. I feel like y'all just
Let's
sitting
talk
there.
about poles real quick.
You want to talk about poles?
Yeah,
Let's talk about
poles.
poles. We're going to talk
I
about.
do. I think this is a good topic. See, people don't really realize how big of an advantage it is until you actually get to use them. I don't know. Do you have poles in your boat? No, I
we're
don't.
talking
I don't.
power poles.
Yeah, power poles.
We're talking
No,
power
Talons,
I did.
Talons, Raptors. I mean, whatever you want to use. Cody Parker. I was fishing a BFL at Sinclair, and he was nice enough to let me borrow his boat because mine took a crap on me. But anyways, and I never realized how big of an advantage power poles actually made until I got to use it.
Especially in sight fishing.
Especially in sight fishing.
And is that just because you can lock on, boom,
Yes.
you're there?
Well, see, a lot of people don't think about this, but power poles, whenever you put them down, if you got the boat moving, it's actually got a little flex in it.
Mm-hmm.
The pole does. So what I did is I would get the boat moving, right? If I knew where the bedfish was, and I would hit it just a little bit early, and that boat would drift forward, and I could take a peek to see if that fish was there, and then the boat would automatically pull itself back on the poles.
Because of the flex
Because
of the poles.
the flex of the poles would pull the boat back. So I could get that peak, that extra peak that I needed to start off, and then let that boat drift back.
That is a very good tip. You should. Oh, see, I knew Justin Warren was gonna jump in because he beat me Saturday. You should have took my whopper plopper during our tournament Saturday. Listen, Justin, a blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while, son. Okay, a blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while. So, I'll give you one tournament. I'll catch you on the next one. Danny, my dad taught me all I know about fishing. He didn't teach me everything he knew about fishing, just so he held an advantage. So that's a pretty interesting comment. So let's go with that. What do you think your dad's holding back on you? Come on, because you know he's watching.
That's $1 million question.
It is. What is your dad holding back on you?
I really don't know, because everything that he's taught me how to do over the years, I mean, we still use it today.
Right.
I mean, every tournament we go to.
What is the difference between you and your dad as far as fishing styles?
I actually really enjoy fishing grass. You know,
Right.
I'm from Jasper, Georgia. You know, I guess Lanier would be my home lake, but that is like, I don't know what it is.
And
Grass
he-
just gets me going.
And he doesn't like it as much as you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say he doesn't like it, but I'm a big fan of punching also, and I can tell just because he does it every time we get to a point where we could punch.
Right.
He makes about 1 or 2 flips, and there went the punching rod. Here comes the frog again.
He's throwing it front. Now, Ryan actually woke up when you said punching.
That's right.
What is it about punching, Ryan, that made you come out of that coma you're in over there?
You just never know.
Yep. That could
Hand-to-hand
be.
combat.
It's hand-to-hand combat.
It could be 1.5 pounds. It could be a 10-pounder. You don't
Okay.
ever know.
Let's talk about your setup for punching.
Uh-oh.
Braid sings.
And the
Mhm.
braid
Sings
sings.
sweet, beautiful music.
Sweet, beautiful music. What is it about punching? Now, what's your setup? How do you approach that?
So, a lot of people, whenever they punch, they use a 7-foot, 11-inch rod. They use a 7-10. I say I'm not like that one because I'm short. I cannot get the leverage on that long rod.
Right?
I just can't. That's just the way I am.
Shoot, a
But
7-11 's
I
too
use
big for
about,
me.
I think
Yeah.
mine's a 7.4. Actually, it's a
Okay.
7.4 extra heavy, but it's got a very soft, fast tip. So that fish, whenever it goes in, that tip will allow that fish to absorb the bait all the way. You know, because you're throwing 1.5 ounces weight. That's a big weight.
It is.
It is. So I've always done good with that.
We gotta get Danny on an 1.5 ounce, 1.25 beaver.
Listen,
They come flying back at him, take him out.
He'll say,
I'm sorry, but you get into that
"Oh,
weight.
Mighty, what is that?" He said,
Yeah.
"I got grass all over it."
Yeah, I mean I'm trying to get better at that, but
That's a bite you'll never forget too. A punching
Yeah,
bite.
it's-
That flip in.
Your
describe
Your
to
heart
somebody.
don't beat in between
Uh,
these
yeah,
beats, and your heart just doesn't do it until you pull the bait back out of the hole, and then you do until you make the next.
So you have the element of the excitement, the element of surprise.
Mhm.
Okay. And what is your favorite lure to punch with?
I throw a what is it? A Strike King punch bug,
Uh-huh.
and then I also throw a missile bait D-bomb.
D-bomb. Okay.
That's what I punch with.
Do you punch a lot there, farmer?
When I get around grass, I punch a lot. If it's up to me, I'd punch over topwater sometimes. I think it's that exciting.
What type of rod are you using to flip a 1/2 ounce finesse jig?
Good grief.
Oh, are we talking sight fishing?
I don't know, but I mean that's still, to me, a 1/2 ounce don't sound like finesse, but I guess it is. So.
Well,
Well, that's a
G-Man,
touchy subject because I've seen people flip, like, you know, those bigger finesse jigs. One, because they're getting that bite on the way down.
Mhm.
That's what they're trying to trigger. They're trying to flip it right beside one, and it's just going to grab it on the way down.
What
So-
is it? The buck? Is it the Buckeye or the Jared Swindle come out with it? It's the balling out jig. It's a finesse jig that's a 1/2 ounce or a 3/8.
I'm not sure.
And
on that one.
he made it for that reason, for out there on ledge fishing on that drop, that he could fish it and fish finesse versus a full body jig.
Right. Okay, so he uses that weight. Chris Taylor, Danny stays hung up too much to punch. Ain't that the truth? Definitely. So exactly what I'm talking about. I totally missed it. I still got COVID
Yeah,
brain.
you
So
gotta- you gotta bury the hook into the plastic. I mean,
Jeremiah said something about 2 ounce weights and 65-pound braid. Now, believe it or not, I actually don't punch with 65-pound braid.
I don't either.
I throw 50.
50-pound
about
braid.
as hard as I'll go.
I throw 55, but I mean, there's not really much difference in 55 to 50.
The only time I'll bump it up to 65 is when I'm fishing those floating hyacinth mats.
Yeah, the
That
stem,
thick
the
stuff.
stems. Yeah,
The stems, because it'll cut you
Mhm.
if you're not. If you set the hook hard on a fish on that viney mat, it'll cut into that vine and end up breaking your line. So you'll have to bump it up to 65.
okay. Now, do you think y'all fish any lakes where that'll come into play?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Like this year's schedule, what lake?
That classic will have some punching in it.
That-
Nick and
that's
Jack
what-
will?
Nick and Jack will.
There'll be some scattered. There'll be scattered grass beds up there, and there'll be fish still hanging on to them. Because there'll still be some green ones, and there'll be still bluegills will be in there.
Okay.
The shad will probably be, when is it? October, or November?
November 11th. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
there's
follow
on
them
there.
there.
There'll
Yeah,
probably
you
still
follow.
be some
That's a good one to
shad
punch.
hanging on.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they sprayed the grass in you follow. They killed it all.
They sprayed the grass, but those floating hyacinth mats are still there.
Okay. All right,
In the
Nathan.
river, anyway.
Yeah, in the river.
Gotcha. Nathan, what lake is your, I'm a place top 3 lake. So any lake that's out there right now, whether it's on the NPFL schedule or not, what lake brings you the most confidence when you're approaching it?
I guess Lanier. Yeah, I know that lake the best, so I'm gonna say Lanier.
So if the NPFL comes to Lanier, you're like, yeah,
yeah, I mean, I could roll with it.
you could roll with that. That's good. If them swim jigs don't perform tomorrow, I want a refund. Okay, I understand
No,
that. That might be Mason.
That's Mason.
That's
Waters.
Mason. He come in and got some bad shads. Hey, listen,
I heard them were killing on Hickory Log.
on Hickory Log, bad shads are
Yeah, murdering.
murdering them on Hickory Log like that.
We're going to
Um,
see if the bad shad murders them on the St. John's.
On the
Two
St.
weekends.
John's like that. We talked a little bit about, just to bring another lake up. What's your favorite type of water to fish? Because we've been talking, the guys in the BFL are going down to the St. John's. It's tannic water. You got Lanier, which is clear water. What is your perfect for you? What do you feel most comfortable in?
Like I said earlier, I love fishing grass. I mean, that's my go-to. I love it. I mean, there's just something about it. I don't know. That's what gets me going. But I'm gonna say it's probably a mixture between Gunnersville kind of water and probably Lanier. I don't like fishing mud. That's one thing I've never. I guess it's just because I haven't got to do it a whole lot. I
Right.
don't really have a confidence in it. I do not get to fish a lot of mud, so
I got you.
I'm gonna try to steer away from that.
If I'd have listened to Stephen Bardet earlier this year when he told me to throw a frit side in the mud on Lanier up at Mary Alice in January, had I listened to the man, all I can say is the team that won the tournament, were exactly where Bardet told me to go. We got some late information that proved to be incorrect, and I should have listened to Bardet. Real quick, while this comment is up, Danny, this is off topic. But how's the fundraiser going for Nathan Hurd? Well, I want to remind you guys that Nathan is a local here that had an accident trying to set up some deer stands for the season. Yeah, he fell out of where he was trying to set up. He had a fall, broke his back in many different places. He's still requiring some medical attention, and I don't even know if he's gotten home yet. We are doing at Fish North Georgia. We're doing a raffle, and I was really going to start hitting it hard next week. We've got a lot of great things that we're putting together. The tickets are $10. I've got a Revo rocket that I put up that's a 10-to-1, the 10-to-1, and it is one badass reel. That's all I can. That's the best way to describe it.
About putting a jig rod, or putting it on a jig rod or a punching rod.
It is one bad reel, but we've got guys that are I've talked to that are offering up trips and stuff. So I'm going to start Monday really pushing that. You can come in to Fish North Georgia and buy a ticket. Every dime that we raise will go to the Hurd family. The goal is $10,000 by the end of November. I know that's a big chunk, but we have got guys that have donated some money who have bought some raffle tickets. I know that there's a benefit tournament that Chris is putting on the Friday after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, out of Lanier. You can get in touch with him, and you can find him on Facebook. Ryan, are you okay? Huh? You thought you fell out of your chair. He's over there sleeping. I've worked him too hard. He's falling asleep. Also, for you electric-only guys, we're thinking about doing a tournament out on Hickory Log on Black Friday as well. Dinkery Log. Hey, listen, it might take 5-2 to win it, but you got to catch 5-2 to do it. So we're putting details. Chris Gayton is getting that set up for me. And also, I've talked to another fellow that wants to do an electric-only versus kayak guys tournament. And we're going to do that. How far out are Ryan's fancy new spinnerbaits?
We tried
Well,
them out
I tell you
today,
what,
just
I
about
tell
it.
you what, Logan. Won't you you've seen one? You've got a couple.
They're looking pretty good. That's all I'm
That's
gonna
all I was
say.
gonna say. They're
I
looking
gotta
pretty
test them
good.
out. I'm gonna put them through the ringer. See what happens.
They are actually the two big bears here decided to leave about lunchtime today, and they ran over to Latham to do some testing on how they ran, and the reports were
They look good.
the brim cometh.
The brim comes.
The brim cometh, as Ryan said. They're coming. They're definitely coming. He actually would be farther along if I hadn't. We've been getting so many jig orders we can't keep up, to be quite honest. So that is a true statement. If anyone needs a partner for Nathan Hurd tournament, I'd love to fish it while visiting family that live on Lanier. That would be awesome. We're going to start getting some details out, definitely on the Fish North Georgia group page about that. So, again, the goal is $10,000, and I wanted to do that in addition to the tournament on Lanier. So, that's a big bite. It's a large number, but at $10 a pop, it takes 1,000 people. We got 5.3 thousand that watch or that are members on our group page, and countless more on our Instagram and YouTube. So if we can just get a portion to come into the store and buy a ticket, I promise you by the end of us getting stuff together, it's definitely going to be worth it. And it goes to a good cause. 100% of the money that comes into the store is going directly to the family. And one of the goals we want to do, you know how it is, we're coming up on Christmas time. We want to make sure we take care of his children. We want to help him out. So, and again, if you don't have the money to give, prayers are always the best thing you can do. So we definitely ask for you guys to do that. Don't talk about them spinnerbaits. Now, you like throwing a spinnerbait?
I do.
Now, let me ask you this. When you're buying a spinnerbait, what are you looking for in a spinnerbait?
Blades and wire size.
Okay, talked about wire size. What's important about wire size?
So I'm gonna use Ryan's for example. What does it have? The .35?
35,000.
35,000.
Yeah. So that's gonna. We talked about this earlier. That's gonna allow a little bit more vibration, but the only downfall to a smaller or bigger, whatever you want to call it, is once you could catch 4 or 5 fish on it, you are liable to break that wire off. But I think it's
That's a chance you need to
that's a
take.
chance
More
I'll
bites
take.
on a
Yeah,
small
I will get
You
bigger.
get more bites. The trade-off
Yeah.
is about even to me. I mean, just for the vibration itself, this bigger wire spinnerbait's not going to catch that 5-pounder that comes through. It's seen the run-of-the-mill spinnerbait every time. So that little bit of vibration, they feel it coming through that water with that lateral line. It's going to catch a bigger. To me, it's going to catch a bigger fish.
Now, do you have a blade preference on your spinnerbaits?
It really depends. I guess stained water. I would much rather throw the big Colorado, just like you see on your night blades and all that good stuff, just to get that.
Stained.
Yep, just to get that vibration. If I'm trying to burn one, I'm throwing double willow leaf all day. I can keep that up in the water column, keep it up, and that's what I'm going to do.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question because it has come up on this show and I've asked it to numerous people. When I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, spinnerbait. Well, with the introduction of the chatterbait, a lot of people have gotten away from the spinnerbait. Which do you prefer and why?
Depends on the lake and depends on the scenario. If I'm fishing grass, obviously the chatterbait's going to shine. I mean, that's what it was made to do.
Right.
I can rip that through grass. If I'm going to Lanier, if it's on that bite where I can get a bite on vibration type baits, I'm probably going to lean more toward the spinnerbait. That's just what I have my confidence in, so that's just a confidence question.
For those out there that are interested, what is your setup, your perfect setup, rod, reel, line for a spinnerbait?
Well, if I'm going to say slow rolling, because that's the term it's called. I'm going to throw that on like a 6-3-1 reel, a medium heavy line, rod, and probably on a medium heavy action rod. If I'm trying to make real accurate casts, obviously the shorter the rod, the better. That's just how that works. You more accurate with a 7-foot than you are with a 7-11. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to burn it, I try not to go over a 7-2-1, to be honest. Keep it about 15-pound line. I think 8-1-1, 8-5-1, all that good stuff, I think that's too fast. You're going to start making the blades get up on top of the water, and at that point, you might as well start
What
top
is
water.
what is the perfect gear ratio for a spinnerbait in your estimation?
7-2 to 1 because I can do both.
What did you say, Ron?
I said 7-1.
7-1, 7-2 to 1.
Yeah,
So in that
'cause-
7 range.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't have a lot of reels, I can make myself slow down enough to slow roll it. I can.
Okay.
But if I need to keep it up, I still have that speed there that I can keep it up.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting. What's the biggest fish you ever caught on a spinnerbait?
Huh.
Because Andrew Murphy commented catch bigger fish on the spinnerbait.
I definitely caught a bigger fish on a chatterbait than I have a spinnerbait, but it was on Gunnersville. Biggest fish I've ever caught on a spinnerbait, probably around 6.5. I don't think I've broke that 7 mark on a spinnerbait.
What about you, Farmer?
9-2 on Notley.
9-2 on Notley. What about you, Ryan?
10-2 Seminole.
10-2 Seminole. Okay. Now you like a spinnerbait over a chatterbait?
I really don't throw chatterbait really when I'm on, specifically if I know that they won't come out and chase a spinnerbait, like underneath the dock in the spring
Right.
or underneath like overhanging stuff. I'll
I'll
skip a chatterbait.
Okay.
That's pretty much about. I'm not a chatterbait fool. I'd rather throw a spinnerbait.
Okay.
That's just me.
What about you?
I have more confidence in a spinnerbait.
What about you, Farmer?
I am a chatterbait fool when it comes to springtime. I've got one. You went fishing with me on Notley,
Yes.
and I had one in my hand.
You did?
Caught fish on it,
Right.
but when springtime ends and that vibration, they're looking for vibration, is over, I'll go to more of a spinnerbait to the willow leaves. I hardly
think about
ever
that
throw
10-2.
double.
You still think about
I hate thinking about
Gets
that
you
10.
excited.
Tell everybody about your
Yeah, let's hear
10-2,
that
Ryan, because
story.
you know what? Here's a perfect time for me to take a potty break.
I just got
So
shivers
listen,
thinking
so
about
I'm gonna go use the restroom before we get to the question of the week. So why don't you tell everybody about your 10-2
I was-
largemouth? Don't tell me, tell them.
I was down. We was down on Seminole fun fishing, and we went down the end of February. This was probably like, I don't know. This is probably like 9 years ago, I guess. And we was down there, and we had caught a few fish, actually taking a 1/4 ounce June bug brush hog. And we were throwing it around the outside points of the grass down there on the hydrilla. That was just
High
now in
percentage.
February. It was starting to really start to spread because the water temperature was about the mid to low 60s down there. And Seminoles, it gets warmer quicker. But I just reached down. I said, I'm going to throw that. There was this point of grass that come out like this. I said, I'm going to throw this spinnerbait up there. I picked that up, and there's a 1/2 ounce War Eagle, chartreuse and white. Big old blades on it. And I had swapped the blades off and put bigger blades. I threw that thing up there, and I'm talking I was doing this number with it. You could barely see the blades turning in the water. And them blades, it just all of a sudden it got right past that point, and the blades just go. And I set the hook, and I said, "Oh God!" And it come out, and it's just wallering. I mean, and I was like, "God, we got to get this thing in the boat." It was so big it could not get out of the water, and it was trying to get out of the water. And Buddy grabbed the damn net, stuck it underneath there, and grabbed it. And we pulled it out. We were both looking at each other like, "Oh my God!" But it had that spinnerbait choked. I mean, it was in the back of its throat. And so, word of advice to any of you guys: if you ever see your spinnerbait blades go sideways, because this isn't the only time that's happened. If you ever see your blades go sideways, or you ever see your blades just disappear, and you don't feel anything like the bite, that fish has come up and inhaled that spinnerbait, and it is in the back of its throat.
Cyclone.
Yeah, and I'm talking you. If you see that happen, you rear down with everything you've got to
That's
set
like,
the
that's
hook.
like the swim jig bite.
Yeah,
You know,
it
I
pretty
mean, you're
much.
working that thing
Yeah,
at the top
exactly.
of the water.
So
The fish comes up behind it, knocks it to you.
yeah.
Same thing.
So it was fun. I lost one over 8-9 pounds this past February on Lanier.
Would
It
you rather
broke-
slow roll or keep one real fast? Burn it.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have two different styles of spinnerbait, and the one that we're gonna make is gonna be like kind of the. You can take that thing, and Farmer was with me today. You can throw that out there, and it's the way that I want it with the blade combination. You can't really burn these one style spinnerbaits we got. You can't really reel them that fast because they'll want to turn. This one spinnerbait that we've got with the bullet head, it is meant to throw out there. You're fishing shallow water. You can fish a little bit deeper water with it, but it is meant to keep the blades just out of sight and you are cranking that thing this slow. And in the springtime, that's when you get the majority of your bites. Is like that. What is it?
I can't say.
Oh,
It has nothing to do with you.
well,
You know what the worst part about being fat and not Ron Jeremy is?
Why?
When you go out there to pee and you think you just got to go and that son of a gun shoots off sideways.
Oh, I was wondering what you
Listen,
come back
you
laughing the
gotta
whole
clean
way.
you got to clean the bathroom tomorrow.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, man, it was clean up on aisle 3. It was all over the place.
no.
I know what my wife fusses about when I pee in the middle of the night
So-
and I'm half asleep, dude.
Oh Lord.
Listen, that whatever it was, that Clyde is dying or whatever.
But we're gonna have the bigger blade profile spinner baits, and then we're also gonna have like a hidden weight style that allow you to make long cast and burn it. So,
Nathan with his eyeballs right there.
yeah.
It's just a part about getting old. I'm just lucky the old prostate works half the
Show
time.
went directly left.
It went. It always goes left when I'm
Took a
on.
hard left.
Listen, I was up there. I was laughing so hard. I can't believe y'all didn't hear me. And I got open-toed shoes on.
I'm gonna have to go check it out.
No, I cleaned up. I'm good though.
Word of advice: February through about the 1st of April. Keep a spinnerbait in your hand from daylight till dark.
Oh, I thought you was going to give me some
You
prostate.
you may not
advice or
get
something.
many bites, but
Sorry, there, Paul.
when you get bit, it's gonna be a big one.
Listen, I took the show hard left, but listen, I mean, I almost peed on the wall. It was insane. I have my own show up there going on in the bathroom, so I didn't mean to take from your spinnerbait stuff. But listen,
No, that's what
it's been a long day. But listen, that is one thing. You skinny guys got an advantage right there. You know what's going on.
If they
I just let it rip.
grab the blades on a spinnerbait bite, it is guaranteed 100% because your combination is wrong.
What's up, Neil Scoggins? I'll get back with you on our conversation at some point today, buddy. So I haven't forgot about you. It's been one of them days. All right, so right now we're about halfway through the show. All right, has it gone pretty good so far?
Yeah.
You've done a fine job.
Appreciate it.
And you know what? You made it through the whole episode without calling me sir so far.
It's coming.
That's why you're one of my favorites right there.
coming.
Now, I'm not knocking Paul Marks. He was a very polite guy. But I ain't ever been called sir so many times in my life. So let's do this real quick. So Lloyd Dog wants to say elaborate, Ryan. So elaborate on whatever it is you were talking about before I peed on myself.
Well, just in my experience, I'm like I said, I'm a spinnerbait fool.
You are. You like them.
Yeah, and in my experience, talking about what Jeremiah said, if you get them come up behind it and they grab the blade and they totally miss the rest of the bait, you need to make a blade combination change. For example, if they come up behind it and you're throwing 2 willow leaf nickel blades, pull you out of spinnerbait, same style, because they want to chase the tandem willow or the double willow. I'm sorry, and put one on them. One of them be gold, and one of them be nickel.
You can pay attention to your spinnerbait too. A lot of times you'll get those bait fish to come back, and you can act accordingly.
Yes.
To what you need to do.
Was it
That
you
too.
upstairs that said something about on the blade a stinger? Somebody up here earlier. Was it somebody up here that was,
Stinger hook.
well, somebody up here earlier was saying.
Doing that with the underspin.
I'm doing that with the underspin.
I heard somebody say today, and I forget who it was. We had so many people come in, and if it was you and you're watching, I'm sorry. You know how I am with remembering things. But they talked about getting hit on the blade and putting a stinger on the blade of a spinnerbait. Have you ever done that?
I don't do it on spin. I haven't
I don't
never
think
done it on
that'd
spinnerbait.
I don't know if that.
I don't know that
think
it'd work. I'm
I think
asking
it
you
would
guys.
mess with the action.
Well,
Yeah,
not a
we talking
trailer
about
hook.
trailer
We're
hook,
talking actually, you know, those. I guess if you had a
I
swivel, or spin.
never throw a spinnerbait without a trailer hook.
How about
I
you?
never throw one without a trailer hook.
I'm right the opposite. Because it just depends on the bite. If they're eating it good enough, I won't throw one because I have actually had fish, go on me just because of that trailer hook. Gets a gill or a
Do
tongue.
you use what kind of trailer do you use, or do you use anything on a spinnerbait?
It depends on what I'm trying to mimic. If I'm trying to make sad, I'll throw a swim bait. I've thrown flukes on a
On
spinnerbait.
a spinnerbait.
Yeah, I've thrown flukes on a chatterbait too.
Okay.
Wouldn't believe the action a fluke gives on a
Gives
chatterbait.
an awesome.
Yeah, it gives that
wobble.
vibration on the tail. 'Cause it's so
Okay.
light.
There you go. All right, so again, let's do this now because we're halfway through. Again, I want to say, Nick Treadwell, I know you're watching. Your jigs are coming, buddy. I have not forgot about you. But for those of you whoever answers this question correct tonight, we will send you a a couple. We'll send you a True Grit prize pack, but we're
Gosh,
going to
so many
send
y'all
you.
don't use trailer hook. That blows my mind. Sorry.
I do.
sorry.
No,
I do.
that's
It just
totally.
depends
No,
on
that's
the-
right. Casey Blanton said it.
I'm sorry.
Casey Blanton. There you go, Casey,
I
right
don't
there.
not throw one.
And Casey again, hopefully is going to be on in 2 weeks, and we'll discuss that.
When I throw a spinnerbait, I don't need a trailer hook.
Well, you know,
I
back
depend
in the
on
day, we
bite.
didn't use
If
them.
they're just smacking at it, I'll throw one.
If they're short
Yeah,
striking.
if they're short striking, they're smacking at it, I will throw one.
You got a favorite particular one that you use? I know a lot of people
not
use that
really.
Gamakatsu.
Yeah, I've used Gamakatsus, I've
don't-
used Trocars, I've used.
What about you?
I like the troll cars and I like the gummies, but I don't use the fixed trailer hooks, the ones where you slide on. It's got the piece of rubber over the eye,
Right?
because
Yeah, I don't.
then
use
you
it
ain't
either.
got a free swinging hook.
That's right.
You want to put a piece of tubing, or you put your hook on and put a piece of tubing over it, so
That's
you
what I
got a
do.
free swinging hook.
Put it
And
to-
explain to somebody who doesn't understand what the advantage of that is. Either one of you, I don't care.
Well, I mean, a free swinging hook, if you don't have a free swinging hook, it's just sitting here going outside of the back of the bait like this. When a fish comes up and hits it, if it pushes that hook out, or
It didn't do you no good.
it pushes that hook back, you're not going to be able to, when you set the hook, you ain't going to hook the fish.
What about once you've hooked the fish? Is it being free swinging give it a little more leverage to the angler, or I mean,
I haven't really lost them.
Just
Just
started to
because
say
of a
once you
trailer
have-
hook. You know.
And those big eye hooks with the rubber pieces that are over
Right.
them, they're really bad if you get a decent sized fish on that's got the back hook and only the back hook. They'll actually pop it off of the spinnerbait.
okay,
And then take off. I've had that happen. I don't know how many times when I've
Yeah, I
come
ain't
back
never
and
had that
had
one happen.
no trailer hook on if I've used the ones that are not free swinging. Now
Okay.
the ones that got the piece of tubing, I've never had that
Okay.
had that problem.
I asked that because I know there's some guys out there now on crankbaits
Mhm.
and certain hard baits that instead of they'll take the split ring off of their treble hook. And I know that Nathan Ragsdale was the one in a podcast I did with him. He was the first one that I talked to about. He will take a piece of braid, and he'll take that braid, he'll tie it to the thing, have a little piece, and he'll tie that to the hook so that once the fish is hooked, the fish can't leverage you because of
Yeah,
the action.
yeah.
I've
Because
heard-
what it does is it actually pins that O-ring up against the bait, and it basically uses it as a pry bar, and it
Gotcha.
pries it out. But that braid, he's basically making a split ring out of braid. That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
pliable.
Yeah.
But it's
more-
got a little more action to it like that, so that's
Correct.
pretty interesting. All right,
Go to 2 rings too, that'll work as well.
2 rings. There
Yeah,
you go.
you can
Paul
put 2
throwing
rings.
in the knowledge from behind the screen there, throwing 2 rings. Excellent
A
stuff.
lot of people have the back hook. They've went to single hooks too, just a single hook on the back.
Of a hard bait.
Oh, a hard bait.
Well, that's like Seville. You know, they got the frog hooks. Basically.
Yeah. I want to, okay, so because you said that, and I'll get to the question of the week here. I did that podcast with O'Neill Williams back in the day. One of the tips that he gave on a spinnerbait, now you both can chime in on this because I've never done it, I don't know how it works. But one of the things that O'Neill Williams does is on a trailer hook, I assume he's using them with a tube, he turns that hook upside down. And he said that will increase your hookup ratio and make it harder for the fish to throw. What do you think about that?
Well, if you think about when a fish comes up, what part of its mouth moves the most? When it opens up, it's going to be its lower jaw.
Right?
So if you hook it upside down, he comes in and he grabs it, and you hook him. It's got more play down here than you'd ever had up here.
Right.
So when you hook him down here, you've got him stuck.
I thought it was interesting he said that. I've never heard of
I've never done
anybody.
that. I've never,
I've
even
never
heard of
done
that.
it, but it makes sense.
If you want to go back and catch that episode, you can go to Fish North Georgia at YouTube and go through our entire collection. That was back during the early days when it was a one-on-one podcast, and pull up the O'Neill Williams episode and hear it for yourself. But that was one of the things that he did. Now, let's get to the question of the week. So we're gonna give you some True Grit jigs, but we're also going to give you the 2 new colors that are coming out tomorrow. No Andrew Murphy, you do not get to play. These are going to be called. Okay, Farmer designed another one today that we're going to call Midnight Madness. It is a black and a purple combination that he likes. We're going to do that. And actually, Andrew Murphy came up today and designed a jig, and we're going to call it the Murphinator after Andrew Murphy. So it's a little louder than Farmers, but it's actually a very pretty cool jig. And listen, the one thing about Murphy for all his. I don't know. He's a unique individual, but he likes his purple. Let's just put that. He likes his purple in some odd colors. Yeah, that Murphinator that we're gonna come out with
Still
tomorrow.
got the Millsap special. The swim
Oh,
jig.
yeah.
Dude, you don't know how many of those I've sold. The Millsap special. And what we got to
Between
listen,
that one and Bad Shad.
huh? That and Bad
It's a
Shad.
cross right now between that one and Bad
That
Shad.
one and
We gotta-
Bad Shad,
We
which
got to
is
get
more-
him to make us.
That's what I was getting ready to say because we are sponsoring you. So you got to design a jig. You know, we can call it the Millsaps too, or we can do whatever. But
Son of the Millsaps.
we're gonna give this man some credit. He's his own man right now. How old are you?
22.
22. Youngest angler on the National Professional Fishing League in 2022.
As far as I know, yes.
As far as you know, that's pretty cool. At 22, I was still chasing.
That's a hog collar.
That is awful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's the question of the week. And I'm going to assume all this information is correct because I had nothing to do. First person to answer in the comments is going to get a True Grit prize pack plus these 2 new jigs. And Nick Treadwell,
sir.
because you've been waiting, I'm going to send those to you as well. So here's the question. First one, and you guys got to pay attention. Paul, please put on your judge hat right there. It's up to you. You're going to call the winner. So the
I'm
question.
always judgmental.
You are really, you are judgmental, but you are a good judgmental. Are you ever going to get your car fixed?
They say I get it back tomorrow.
Tomorrow, is that still a sore
Maybe.
subject?
That's it, yeah.
I'm a little raw about it.
I know you're wrong. We
Little
need
raw.
to do a separate podcast on just things that just piss us off sometimes. And rental cars and wrecks and car insurance is one of them. So here's the question of the week. Who won the Angler of the Year in the first inaugural season of the National Professional Fishing League? By gosh, I murdered the hell out of that one. Who won the Angler of the Year in this first season of the NPFL? So, guys, we are waiting on you for that True Grit prize pack. And I will tell you this, and I think it is pretty common knowledge around the North Georgia area. Nobody ties a jig better than my man
Yep.
right
it
here.
is.
All right, so we got to have – okay, now listen.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We got,
All right, we got
already got a
3,
winner.
4.
We got a winner, Michael Fox.
Well-
he was first.
Man, Stephen Bardet's a big old boy. Of course, he throws
Robbie,
Picasso,
you fish
so.
the league. You can't chime
Oh,
in on
Robbie,
this.
dude, come on, man. I should have done that dadgum disclaimer. All people of the National Professional Fishing League and its associates and its media outlets. Who's that? Who's got a jig company? Robbie Frazier. Are you looking for a jig company and a jig sponsor? Well, right now, I'm telling you, this man right there in the camera drinking that Mountain Dew ties the best jig in the Southeast. And Bardet, don't come back.
Durable jig.
The most durable jig. And Bardet, don't you come back with that Picasso crap. I don't want to hear it. They make a good jig, but, you know, I love you and you're a big boy. So let's do this. There are 2 guys right there, Michael Fox and Bardet, and they both come in at 9-11. So
All right,
we need to have a question off.
Split the prize.
So here,
Aw.
no, here it is.
They each get
Here it is.
Half a
one
jig.
gets the skirt and one gets the head.
That's right.
Okay,
3.6
so only Bardet and Michael Fox are eligible for this question. Bardet, I'd love for you to throw some True Grit jigs, son. It'd change your life. All right, so here it is. Here's the question. Here is the question off. We've never had a question off. This is history right here on the Livewell. So there you go. I threw that in there. Hello from Port St. Joe, Eric Thurman. God, do you work anymore? You are always on vacation fishing, dude. I'm serious. You're everywhere. So here's the question. Michael Fox, Stephen Bardet. Okay, the answer was Keith Carson.
Mm-hmm.
How many points did he have, and how many points did he beat the second place finisher by?
We're about to have to do math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bardet can't do math. No, I love you, Bardet. Please listen, buddy. You're one big old dude. All right, you're one big old dude. I'm just playing with you. So let's see if you guys can get the answer. How many points did Keith Carson have, and how many points did he win by over the second place finisher? So
You know there's some
You know they're
scrambling going
looking.
on. Oh, yeah, that phone is going 9.
Bardet's counting fingers right now. He's going 1, 2. No, here we go. Need to get True Grit tackle over here in
It's coming.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Trust me, I'm trying.
Here's something while they're doing that. We do have an appointment to go to Waterfront on
Oh,
Gunnersville.
there it is.
Michael Fox beat you. There you go.
1 point.
1439 by 1 point. That is the correct answer. So, Michael, I tell you what, you come by. What I'll do, we'll build them. Come by and see us. I know you're local, so you can come by and see us. But we need to get Bardet's address and just send him a couple. Huh? He'll
I
throw
want
it.
to. I want to know, Barday. I'm going to ask you a question. Have you got your boat situation figured out?
Huh? Listen. So hey Barday, listen. I'm sorry you got beat this time. We got to go. We got to go with Michael Fox. So, but I'm gonna send you a couple, Barday. I just want you to fish it and give me a good answer. But back to Nick Milanis' thing. We are going over to Waterfront. They've already kind of looked at our jigs.
I've been
and
in there.
Have you?
I
That
have.
that is a store that a lot of pros go in.
Yep.
And we're actually taking True Grit over there. And we are going to try to expand it all over. Progressive sucks, Barday. For those of you that don't know, he's in a little situation with the insurance company.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not, for those of you that like Progressive and have had a good time, this is not towards you, but Barday's currently going through a little situation with him. So we wish you the best, Barday. We'll send you a complimentary complimentary second place. If you'll just tell us what color you want, we'll get you something up there. But Michael, we'll get you set up. But yeah, Nick, we're trying to get into Tennessee and Alabama, and it's coming by very quick. Need to stop in at Barnes Store here in Carrollton.
Yep.
I'll make a stop out of that.
Actually, for those of you that don't know, Farmer is actually the salesman. He is my salesman here at True Grit, and he actually set up the country. What did I say? S&K and Country Sportsman.
S&K in Chatsworth and Country Sportsman over there in Rome.
And those will be going to those stores here next week. And Country Sportsman, excuse me, Country Sportsman. Good Lord, what happened to him? I mean, sheesh. It's getting old. Sucks, man.
Sideways on here. Paul Wall.
Paul Wall, is that what I am? Sitting sideways down. Country Sportsman actually is going to have a hell of a selection of our jigs. They got a very big order. And 400 and our world famous
You're welcome.
shaky heads.
Hey, there you go. Tony
Shaking
Wood.
heads?
That's what
Shaking
he
heads,
needs.
as
Tony
Kevin
Wood.
Underwood
Say
likes
Tony
to say,
Wood.
our shaking heads are coming
Thank you, Robbie. I'll
to Rome.
I'll
So
look
we
up at
will
Robbie Wood.
do that. And Robbie Frazier, if you're in there, drop our name off, okay? Because some stores around here, you got to ask, and maybe they'll finally
He
call.
never did answer you if you wanted a jig company.
Who's that?
Robbie.
Robbie Frazier, would you like to have a jig company help you out next year? If so, message me, Danny, on Facebook directly, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Barday,
Slide up in them DMs.
Barday, hey, listen, Barday, come on up in my DMs, and I'll bring it up to the folks at Mark's Outdoors tomorrow. Thank you very much. And if you'll give us their contact information, we'll do that. Just tell them I sent you. But Robbie, again, hit me up. And Barday, listen, I realize we can do it on the down low. But anyway, what are you going to tell me real quick before we get back to the superstar here?
Let me tell you something. That's a hook right
That is a
What
hook.
size hook is that?
That's a 5/0 hook.
there.
Gamakatsu.
Got your mama, son.
Got your mama
That's
hook
what
on
we
that.
call them. We call them got your mamas.
I'm gonna ask you. Let's get back. Let's get
All
back
right,
to Logan because his mama might be watching, and she's gonna be like, "Man, they're just taking the spotlight off my son. We can't do that." So we definitely want to do this. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question here, and I'm just gonna ask it blunt. Of all the ways that you fish, what do you suck at the most? What do you need?
Crankbaits.
Crankbait.
Guaranteed.
Crankbait. What is it about crankbait fishing that you struggle with? Hey, listen, I suck at it too, but I suck at everything.
Suck
So
at everything.
I do suck at everything. Ryan's going to have to carry me in the elites next year, but I'm a hell of a net man. I'm a
That's
hell
all
of a
that
net
matters.
man. Nobody's better than me. What is it about crankbaits that you don't like?
I just don't have the experience with them. Plain up and simple. I mean, I
Just
just
don't throw 'em a lot.
I don't.
Just go.
And
for
I
it.
need to. I really do. That and jerk baits. That's one thing I
Oh,
need
see,
to
listen,
get
that's
into.
another thing. Jerk baits. I ain't figured out. Back in my day, a jerk bait was a floating Rapala, and I could slay them on the farm ponds. But now there's some techniques now. A Rapala, a Rapala. You say it's
We
Rapala?
talked about this when you weren't here.
Is it Rapala or Rapala?
We said, well, everything's like shad wrap and stuff, so it's obviously it's Rapala.
Oh, bull. Come on, what is it, Paul? Give me a judgment. Rapala or
Yeah, and
Rapala?
if it's a wrap, it's got to be a wrapple.
It's a Rapala.
If it's an X wrap, shad
You got
wrap,
Yankee blood in you, though, somehow, don't you?
I've always heard
That's-
Rapala.
You're
That's where they
boss.
get
I'm
the
on
sound from.
Boston.
Okay, so
We're up catching walleyes on wraps.
on the wraps, that's right. My goodness.
I love it.
I know
I
it.
can't ever get it. I can't get it. We got some good chowder upstairs.
Listen, chowder. I want some chowder.
All the dogfish running. How about them socks?
How about them? Oh yeah, big shout out to Earl if he's
Earl,
watching this
yeah.
for the Red Sox
The
winning.
Yankees.
And Kurt Wehunt, if you're watching,
God, y'all got so
I
lucky.
rooted
Y'all
against you.
are going to lose to San Francisco because y'all's bats are as cold as a
I'm serious.
bat in the Arctic Ocean.
The
I'm gonna go ahead and
Dodgers
tell you
suck.
right now.
I seriously, that's like kissing your sister rooting for the Dodgers. That's terrible. Okay,
Oh,
back
yeah,
to you.
that's
This is
right.
how the show goes
That's
south
fine.
in a hurry.
That's what
I
it's
mean, we'll
supposed
get
to
to talking
All right.
about. You know that Eddie Van Halen died like almost a year ago, like a year ago this week. That was a big sad thing
God
for me.
rest his soul.
Eddie Van Halen is the best thing to ever touch a guitar. Corey Harmon, I'm watching Tampa Bay beating the Bo Sox. Well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. So,
Tampa.
I will say this, that I saw on ESPN where that whatever them video game company is that does that runs the simulations and stuff like that picked Atlanta in their simulation. Atlanta
MLB
beat
The
Houston.
Show.
Atlanta beat Houston in the World
They
Series this year.
simulated it.
They did. They
And
simulated
Austin
it.
Riley was the MVP of
And
the
Austin
National
Riley
League
was the-
Championship
That's
Series.
Kurt is there. I knew he was there. I knew he was there. I'll smoke you. We will a net competition. Yeah, me and him are great. Kurt Wehunt, let's get a side bet going. One thing that was interesting, we had a guy from Alabama call us this week about a e-propulsion motor, and after we got to talking,
Barday's on.
Barday, Alabama is a great team, but it's Georgia's year this year. But I got a $20 side bet going with some cat over in Alabama that I've never met before that Georgia will beat Alabama this year. So anyway,
Can I reenact
Well, they're
it?
going to have 2 or 3 chances.
they're going to play them in the SEC championship game and the championship. All right, Farmer wants to talk fishing. I see him turning his thing back on. Go ahead. Go ahead, Farmer. Ruin our baseball talk.
We're going to talk about
Ruin our baseball talk.
Roll Tide.
Well, I'm going to go back to sight fishing because he said,
Hell,
You're a
damn,
big-
that was all the way at the beginning
yeah,
of the
but
show.
he's a big sight fisherman. He's a big sight
got a
fisherman.
question.
I'm a big sight fisherman.
Let's hear it.
All right. I dock fish a lot.
Yeah.
Love dock fishing. I think it's sight fishing because you look under docks and stuff like that. How would you approach a dock? Say, let's go Old Coney because it's a pole dock. How are you going to approach that dock?
All right. Well, obviously it's pole dock. Everything's a little different. It's like we got cables on one there.
Yeah.
Pole dock. What I would do is, let's say we're going from left to right. So the first cast I'm going to make it the front left. Because that's where my boat is going to hit first. I don't want to blow that out. And that's one thing you got to be careful with about dock fishing is you can blow out the dock with a trolling motor. It can happen. Turn the trolling motor the wrong way and gas it, you just blew out the whole dock. That's just
So you
what
like to approach that front corner.
yeah first.
Okay.
And then I'll go to the back on the left side, circle back around, and then work to the front. Do the same thing on the other side. Hit the slips in between.
How good are you at skipping?
Pretty decent.
Because
I can skip.
I have the masters here at skipping.
I can skip.
So
You do
I
not
was just-
have the masters here. There are people better than me.
James Harmon, Taco Thursday. What did I miss? Everything.
When you going to come finish my basement? My wife's going to bake you a pound cake. You offered.
Harmon can finish your basement?
He said the other night, last night, he said, when are you going to finish that basement?
Well, we know who's got the money.
Exactly,
For all
that's
them
what I
bad
said.
blasted emerald
And then he
poppers
said,
and
if your
stuff.
wife will bake me a pound cake, he said, I'll come. I said,
We can get you a pound cake here.
Bucket.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you, Harmon, for those that you don't know, Mr. Harmon of Lanier Baits has joined us. I need some more poppers, buddy. That 12 you sent me were gone. I
Gone.
opened them up, put them in a pack. They're gone. I need more.
Have
Quit
you
sending
thrown
them.
an emerald popper? Do
You
know what
throw
the emerald
top water
popper
poppers?
is?
Yes, I throw poppers.
You throw poppers. Okay, so let me ask you, let's get your opinion on this. What is your setup for a popper?
A medium action rod.
What
That's
pound
what I
test line?
I probably try to stay around 12 to 15, somewhere around there.
Now, Farmer, who has designed a popper, has figured it out. He goes, not you,
Wait a minute.
not you, Jim Farmer, the great military
farmer.
veteran
the great
of our
farmer.
country, and who goes to church with me, by the way. God bless him. That's right, Farmer goes. No pressure. So I got to be good. He has figured. He throws that thing sometimes as light as 6 pound fluoro. I know that is out of the norm, but to get that action on that popper, he has found that 6 pound fluoro gives it that. The man catches fish on it. I can't deny it. But would you throw any top water on 6 pound? Would you feel confident in that?
No.
Yeah, it scares the
hard
hell
for-
out of me too.
It's hard for me to go to a
Um,
6 pound test drop shot.
Check this
Yeah,
out. Nick Milanis, Emerald Popper, won me a tournament on the Coosa River last weekend.
I hope
On the Coosa,
I hope we go there next year. The Coosa. I've heard so many things about it.
like the
I'm
Weiss or Logan Martin or
section of it?
gonna say like Logan Martin area.
Oh, that is
Okay.
a heck of a fishery. I love that place.
Look at that, Harmon. That is awesome, Nick. Harmon, you still listen. I need more poppers. Low will have more Saturday. Don't send them to Hammond. Send them here. Okay? I just put them on the spot. Answer that one. I want all of them. I'll buy every single one of them. You don't need to give them to Hammond's or Oakwood or Buford Bait and Tackle, all those great establishments that you sell. Give them all to me, and I'll sell all of them. I'll make you some money. But anyway, Nathan says 8 is as low as I like to go. It's a technique-specific bait. Now, let's get back to crankbaits because you say you stink at it. I stink at it, too. So,
I do.
listen.
I hate 'em.
But here's the deal. Next year, you're fishing for money.
Yeah.
What happens if you have to pull a crankbait out?
I mean,
No.
I know how to throw and I know what to do with
You just
one.
don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
I would rather throw, I'd rather throw a wobble head and reel it on the bottom more than I would a crankbait. That's just me.
For topwater treble hooks, I use mono to keep the front hook from catching the line nearly as much. That's a good technique from tip from Frank's Fishing. Cooper McDonald. Ryan, have you ever thrown a horny toad on 6-pound test?
No. No.
Okay, you're a great customer, but I need you to finish Ryan's basement. If you guys will buy enough jigs, we'll be able to afford to finish it. Ain't that right?
That's right.
Got to buy some jigs.
He's tired of looking at my trusses.
Harmon, you need to actually buy some jigs from me and put them on your site, buddy. Let's just put that. Will you try to be best friends with Hackney?
Absolutely. Me and Ryan was actually talking about this. That is one guy I want to talk to.
Awesome.
I do. I want to
Man
meet
right
him.
there.
Here's something that's pretty cool. Tell everybody about your experience with Hackney at the Classic.
I got to sit and talk to him for like an hour at the Phoenix Boats booth, and like nobody was around him. This was back in 2014, the year he came storming back
Right?
and like dominated the entire Elite Series that year. And like me and him got to talk, and he treated me. He didn't know me from Adam, and he treated me like, like we talk, and it
Right.
was great.
You have a lot of respect for the man.
I have a lot of respect for the man because he humbles himself and talks to other people.
Gotcha.
And it's good, and he knows he's good. I mean, all these guys know they're good. You got to have confidence in themselves to be good. But I've just had some other bad experiences with some other guys, and they're just like, eh.
Right.
But Hackney and
Stood
a
out.
couple other guys.
He
Like
stood
I
out.
met Casey Ashley
He's-
at Bass
yeah,
Pro
he's
Shops,
he's
and he talked to
approachable.
me for like 45
Approachable.
minutes.
Yeah, he's approachable. You
And
can
that's
go
one
talk to
thing
him.
we
Yeah.
highly recommend for you.
Absolutely.
Always stay humble and approachable.
And
Oh,
you
yeah.
said
That's
that
absolutely it.
said that last week about all the guys in the NPFL. They
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all,
you said this, yeah.
Absolutely.
He said, Logan said this, that all you guys,
Mm-hmm.
you can walk right up to y'all, getting the boat out at the ramp and talk to them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell everybody a little bit kind of like what you told us about the atmosphere of an NPFL. And Neil, I'll get back to your question as soon as we discuss this.
It's not like anything I've ever been to be honest with you. I fished in college. I fished the BFLs. Everybody's all quiet and secretive. I mean, those guys literally, they will talk. If they see each other in the water, hey, what do you got? What are you catching on? No. I mean, they do. That's just the way that is. I mean, they call that the brotherhood over there.
Right.
They do. I mean, everybody's so nice and friendly. Like I said, everybody you can just go up to and have a conversation with them if you want to. Nobody thinks they're better than anybody else. I mean, we're all just there to fish.
And that's what, again, I started the show off saying that I thought it was pretty cool because it seemed like this professional league resonates more with guys like us who can just sit here. Guys come up to the shop, we sit here and we just talk and BS, and we talk fishing and life and family and stuff like that. And it seems like what you told us once you had found out,
Yeah.
we were questioning you a little bit about what makes it so special. One of the things you kept bringing up was just the quality of the guys as far as they relate to the fans.
Even the tournament directors, Paul and Brad and Al,
Mhm.
all of them guys, they're all that way. I mean, you can go and talk to any one of them, and they'll treat you the same.
See, that's what's special, and that's why we like it, and that's why we want to support it and watch it grow, and I hope it never changes.
Oh yeah.
You said that when we were talking last
Mhm.
week, that one of the keys that they're building this trail on is that approachability and the character of the anglers.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And that's how important it is. And that's pretty cool like that. So Neil Scoggins has a question. What is y'all's opinion on the line size issue? BLAT says bass don't care what size your line is because they don't care about the hook sticking out of a bait.
Goes
Uh,
back to
that-
your A rigs.
Well, see, I have a hit or miss on that. That's like somebody trying to throw a shaky head on Lanier on 65-pound braid. I'm going to get more bites on 12-pound fluorocarbon. You know, just because I do believe those fish can see that. I do
Right.
believe it. So,
Do you throw any spinning rig? I mean,
yes, I throw
okay.
spinning reels.
So do you use braid?
Yes,
to
I
fluoro?
use braid to fluoro.
Gonna ask you the great question we always ask: what knot do you use to tie your fluoro to your braid?
I think it's called the double uni, but don't quote me on that.
Double unit.
The double unit. It's amazing the different. Beasley, what do you Beasley, our resident high school angler? What do you use to tie your fluoro to your braid?
Yeah.
FG. Oh, that's right. You're one of them FG snobs.
Yeah.
He
Good
sits down for
Lord.
30 minutes and ties a knot.
Listen, think of how many fish you could catch if you went on your boat retying that FG knot. It don't take that long. That's because you're young and you're not old, and your fingers and your eyesight
It
are still
takes me
good.
about a minute to tie my knot and be back in the water.
You need about a minute.
Yeah, that's
How long does it
lure
take you
back
to tie
on.
your FG? Oh, you lie like that. Come on, kid. Jeez. I watched Josh in the back of a boat. It took him approximately 22 minutes and 37 seconds to tie an FG knot. He had that stuff wrapped around his head, and I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm tying an FG. I watched the video.
That was John.
He's talking about line size too.
Oh,
I have
line
seen,
size. Okay.
I
Let's
have
get back to
seen
it.
where, like, it does make that big of a difference. Like if you throw, I'm gonna use a lipless crankbait for example. If you throw it on 15, and then you bump it down to 12, one, because some, depending on the weight, it will let that bait get deeper. It will keep that bait up, obviously, the
Right.
weight size. So that does make a big difference. That's something you need to play with while you're fishing. for sure.
In what instances do you ever use mono? Or do you?
I don't.
So you're a non-mono filament guy.
Even top water, like, my brush ball fishing on Lanier, I throw straight braid. 40
Straight braid.
pound.
So 40-pound straight braid, no mono ever on your boat. I can go check your boat right now, and I won't find a pack of strand. Listen, there's something.
DuPont
I just
string.
don't like the
DuPont string.
stretch that mono
DuPont
gives off.
string.
But listen, there's something to be said back in the old days, farm pond fishing with that blue high visibility string. When you throw it out and you get a bite, and you watch that line just kind of take off. There's just something to be said. It's nostalgic. What boat are you running?
I am running a 921 Elite Phoenix, and I can tell you right now that is the best boat I've ever owned in my life. I've owned Skeeters, I've owned Rangers, I've rode in Tritons, I've rode in Nitros, I've rode in about all of them. Blazers. That is the fastest boat, and it is the most comfortable. I mean, that thing is the Cadillac of boats right now.
You ain't got the one that's got the heated seats, do you?
No,
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'm
you-
not that.
Huh? It's an upgrade.
No.
There's something
is.
to be said about the guys running around with heated seats, though.
I'm going to have to upgrade soon.
That's all right. That's okay. But okay, let me ask you this: what's the worst boat you ever been in? Come on, man! I asked some tough questions. What's the worst?
Nitro.
A nitro. What was it about a nitro? And again,
Beat
guys,
you to death. I'll be
Beat you to
straight
death.
up honest with you. It slaps.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not going to say it, but
that's,
I'm-
you
I'm
can say
just-
shit on this program. It's okay.
it's just.
Sorry, Eric.
I'm just. They ride rough to
So-
me.
So, but the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Did you have what boat did you have before the Phoenix?
Actually, believe it or not, my dad is actually the one who talked me into getting this because of the fact of I've never owned one. I've only rode in one, and this is back in like 2016, so
Right.
or whenever they first come out. So I owned a 521C Ranger.
Okay.
It was a 2015. The only reason I got rid of that boat is because the warranty ran out.
Okay.
So that's the only reason. And I was skeptical about getting a Phoenix. I knew a little bit about them. I looked up, did the research on them or whatever. And I didn't know how it was going to ride, how it was going to, handle anything.
Yeah.
And that's the best boat I ever rode.
I will attest to the fact because Ryan is a Phoenix owner as well. Brett Matthews, I fished with him up on Lanier. It is like getting in a Cadillac and riding across that, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
The first time I ever drove my boat,
Triton.
the first time I ever opened it up, it scared me. I'm not even going to lie.
What's the fastest you've ever been
I've
in a
had it
boat?
to 80. Oh, the fastest I've ever been in a boat.
Yeah. 'Cause that's
I
some
mean, I've been
sketchy
in
stuff, dude.
bullets going 90, but
'Cause
the fastest
listen-
I've ever been in my Phoenix is 84.7.
I'm going to tell you right now that in the electric only world, we at 9.5 miles per hour screaming. I got in a boat with Chris Taylor on Lanier, first time I've been on Lanier, and I mean, blast off scared the hell out of me. I'm serious. I don't know what we were in, but it beat the crap out of me. And then now this guy right here, we're running his fence coming up behind the cabin cruiser, and all of a sudden he goes, "Hold on," and just sharp turn to the left. And did we get out of the water? If not, we were close. We were close. We might have got airborne.
A little bit.
But it was still, listen, I didn't go home that night feeling like I'd been in a bar fight.
Yeah.
But I will say,
Absolutely.
what are you in?
Ranger.
You're in a Ranger. Your
Ranger.
boat rides well.
Yeah.
Danger.
It rides well. You keep saying I need to
What
upgrade.
year is yours?
04.
Oh, 04. Okay, I'm gonna be
Who
honest with you.
cares?
Yeah, dude, my first boat was like a 80. I don't even know. It was like 480 something. I don't even remember.
A
No,
long
I mean,
Ranger like that?
LJ owns the only Triton I would ever consider even owning if it was going to be a Triton.
Uh-uh.
He
Now,
has that. He
what
has that
is-
189.
I don't.
I will
That's
admit,
because he's got money.
the Ranger that I've got,
Well, that's
the,
the-
model
that's the-
Ranger I've got, is probably one of the best models they
Which one do
built.
you have? The VX.
The VX.
Yeah.
He got
Your boat
185.
rides really
The one-
smooth.
Yeah, the one V.
Now, granted, we were on Notley and nobody else was on the lake but us, but it's
That's
still
because
ran
it's
good.
a hidden gem.
It is a hidden gem. Riding performance has a lot to do with setup and balance. That's true. Huh? Who's in trouble? Am I in trouble?
No, he's talking about me burning Notley.
Eric Thurman again is here. I do 4.3 in my Vibe sheer water. Yeah, that's high speed for a kayak. What's the fastest a kayak can get up to, Paul? What is?
I've had 6.
I was about to say
GPS
6.
Paddling my kayak.
Oh, you
Cody, I know
gas off
exactly
at
who
that
you're
point.
talking about. I've been in that
I
Vexus.
thought I was going to get run over by a cabin cruiser. I was going for my life.
Now here is the ultimate wisdom for all you boat guys from Steve Pinkston. Okay, Mr. Ham Sandwich himself. The
That's right.
best boat is a paid-for boat.
That's right.
Damn right.
That is absolutely correct. Us teachers can't afford those fancy Phoenixes and Tritons. Looking to upgrade.
The only
to
reason I got
Express.
one is because I had one trade in. I'm gonna
Well,
be
I tell
straight
you what.
frankly
Listen, I
honest with
got the. We did go out with LJ one time. He runs an Express, right? That's his boat.
LJ? No, he
No,
has-
Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo does.
Jimbo's got
That
an
was
Express.
actually a pretty cool.
He left the bug and went to Express.
That Express ride's good.
Has anybody been in a Basket?
Yes.
I have.
I've never been in one.
Yeah.
Okay, what is-
About 'em.
Yeah.
They're fast.
Yeah, I know they're fast.
Is Bullet
but-
still the fastest boat out there?
I'd say they are.
Okay, the thing about
Close.
bullets are though is you got to watch water. I mean, if you get rough water, I do not want to be in a bullet. I can tell you
Listen,
that
they
right
all
now.
scare. Listen, they all scare the hell out of me. They all. I'm serious. There's only a few people I trust to ride in a boat with.
Mhm.
I trust
I've rode in
Farmer.
a
I
car-
trust him.
I rode in a
Chris Taylor, if
Caracal,
you're still
and
watching,
rode
I
in
don't
a
trust you at all, but
Pantera
I'll ride with you, baby.
too. The scariest I've ever been was with Jim Trotter in a 200 XL Stratus with 225 E-Tech on it running up Lumpkin County Park Bridge.
How fast were you going?
78.
Up in that's fast up in that part of the lake.
That was like, oh.
Listen, let me ask you a question. How come boats don't have ocean handles?
They do.
They do.
Dude,
Well, the one yours has one.
Mine does.
mine don't.
Mine's
No,
actually,
yours don't. I know yours don't.
Mine,
That's what I'm
mine has
saying.
an
Phoenix-
ocean handle.
Phoenix actually has two.
Even though it's a 150, it really don't need one with a 150.
Mine's got one right beside the seat, and it's got one on the left side.
Mine don't.
Yours don't.
Which
I trust you though.
which one you
So,
got?
721.
Steve, happy to be the voice of reason, and that don't happen often, does it? It does. So, bass cats are smooth. That's a whole. Listen, we're getting into a whole different talk.
You having fun with
We are. Let me ask you this. Correct me. Now, let me ask you this. Now, one good thing about the MPFL does not mandate you having a certain boat or anything like that, or it
No.
being
I'm pretty sure there's a limit on motor size, but that's about
limit
all.
on motor size.
Yeah,
but
it's
if a guy
250.
shows up and he's in an 04 Ranger, he can fish an 04 Ranger.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
Now,
yeah.
which one of the leagues is it that you got to have a? Seems like I want to say I've heard some of them. I mean, you got to trade your boat in every year,
That
every
don't
other year.
exist anymore. The
Yeah.
only reason they
Yeah.
trade their boats in every year is before the extra incentives for winning. Because if
Yeah.
they're running a Skeeter, then
part
you
of
got to
the
have a
reason I got a
2022 Skeeter, so that way you get that Skeeter real money on top of your winning. So they're making as much money as possible for a win.
I got you. So is the NP?
But a long time ago,
Okay, I'll get to you, Cody Jones, in a
a
second.
long time ago, FLW, the first 2
Hold on a
days.
second. Hold on a second. FLW.
FLW.
All right, Bush. You like-
FLW.
They
FLW.
went under.
Vote GOP.
Yeah,
Oh,
that ain't,
GOP.
it ain't FLW no more.
Vote GOP.
MLF.
MLF now.
Well,
But
when
back in the day,
but
when it
this
was
was when it
FLW.
was FLW. The first 2 days, they could fish out of their own boat. They would bring their own boat. If you made the cut, they had 25 brand new Rangers sitting there that they brought around, and you had to transfer all of your stuff into that boat. and
What
you had
if
to
you
fish
were
out of those
sponsored
last
by
2 days.
another boat company?
It doesn't matter because the FLW then was sponsored. Ranger Boats was the deal.
Okay,
So
I
they
didn't
had
know
to
that.
have all the guys, regardless, had to be on top up until 2012, and then after that, it was pretty much
Gotcha.
Ranger
Gotcha.
contingency.
Eric, to answer your question right there, actually, we do have the food barrel still up here. I actually talked to Paul about it the other day. Be honest with you, we've actually got some canned goods in it. We haven't been pushing it, but I'll start pushing that thing again. It's about that time of year that we need to do that. There was a question from Cody Jones.
Yeah.
Is the NPFL requiring wraps this year?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
As,
All right.
as far as I know, no.
Okay. Here's a loaded question from Nathan. What's your thoughts on Rob from Guggen? He's a competitor.
Competitor.
He is a competitor in that too, right?
Yes, he does fish the NPFL. He did this year. I'm not sure about next year. Honestly, I've never even got to talk to him. So
What
don't know
will,
how to
let me
answer
ask
that.
you this: what will get you out of the NPFL?
cheating,
Cheating?
no, guaranteed.
That's the thing.
Automatic DQ.
Yeah.
Do they automatically extend an invitation to every angler again the following year, or if you've had Cody Jones, Rob is a complete asshat? Okay, well there you go. So Logan is not in the position where he can say that, but yes.
I really don't know. I've never talked to him. I'm being completely honest.
Okay.
I'd tell you if I don't like him.
That is a good man, but you got to be politically correct. We never know who's watching these things now or in the future, so we totally understand that.
Reserve judgment.
Way to reserve, and that's.
That's diplomacy.
I'm gonna pull it. Let me ask you this: you ever seen the movie Bull Durham?
Yep.
Okay, so at the end, when Crash Davis is taking Nuclear loose, and he says, "You got to learn your catchphrases.
Mhm.
You got to learn this. You got to learn how to talk to reporters and stuff like that." Has anybody prepared you for that?
I took a speech class in college.
A speech class in college, all right?
Attaboy.
I mean, close enough.
But I'm serious. Does the league go to you guys and say, okay, listen, here's how we want you to treat reporters, or these are the things that you can or cannot do?
I'm
I'm just
I'm
asking.
aware of. No,
Listen, because
don't-
that's important. You got to know your catchphrases. What did he say?
I'm not sure.
What did you say?
That old Jeff Foxworthy joke. Well, we ran a pretty good car today. We trail got a little bit tight over there and turned left. But the hard East Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What do you run? A Phoenix what?
Do what?
What Phoenix do you run?
921 elite.
Well, that Phoenix 921 was real tight in the corners today, but other than that, we did good.
Hey, I'm not scared. I'll send it.
No naughty talk tonight. Well, listen, I mean, we can talk naughty all the time, but to be honest, we got to we don't want everybody running up on that hidden gem.
I got yelled at.
You got yelled at from who?
No, I just played.
Oh, because you hadn't talked to it? I don't even know what Harmon's saying. I think he must have had one or two margaritas at taco night tonight. Good Lord, I've lost my train of thought. You guys got to jump in and help me give this guy some questions to finish off this thing. How about jigs?
All right.
I can always go back to jigs. Like them, love them, hate them, what?
That's the most versatile bait on the market.
Do you throw them?
Yes.
I hope you throw them. We're
Yeah.
gonna give you some of them. Shit. I was like, I hope you throw them.
Nah.
What is your? I tell you what is your jig setup? As far
Like
as
rod and reel, or are we
that? Yeah,
talking
rod
bait?
and reel line.
We'll start shallow. All
Start
right,
shallow.
so,
Shallow water jig bite.
like I said earlier, you need a little bit shorter rod, to make accurate casts if you're pitching around, laydowns, docks, whatever it is. So I'm going to go like 7 foot, 7.3 at the max.
Okay.
I'm going to start out with 15-pound line and probably like a 3/8 to a half-ounce jig, depending on, what I'm trying to do with it.
Okay. Do you have a preferred head as far as like the Arky compared to the?
Yeah, if I'm trying to like skip or something like that, definitely go with the Arky, and that also will depend on what trailer I put on it too. Like if I'm really trying to skip, I'm obviously going to pick that bait that's a lot more flat, a lot easier to skip.
Right.
Just makes my life easier. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Is there any instances where you would use a brush type stand-up head?
Yeah. I mean, trying to throw it in brush piles out deep, rock.
Brush head
Obviously.
and brush piles out deep.
I actually really like dragging those on rocks too. So.
Okay. Let's go. Brett Matthews, how you doing, buddy? I know you called me. I'll return your call. I promise. We
Ooh.
just had some stuff.
I like
going.
that one. Click that one.
Okay, so he's clicking that one. Shake or straight reel a swim jig? Do you do the Alabama
Yeah,
shake?
Alabama shake. Yes.
Are you sitting there doing this while you're reeling?
Yes.
I am not
I thought it was
freaking
I thought it
coordinated
was the
enough.
Carolina shake.
No,
That's an Alabama
shake.
Alabama shake.
Everything's different in Alabama. No offense to you there, Nick, over in Alabama.
There is so many different ways.
What is the purpose of the Alabama shake?
Makes that skirt dance.
Yeah. Okay, so while you're pulsing the jig is what I call
Pulsing the
it.
jig.
Yeah. The skirt will actually flare out, and what that does is one, it's going to cause a lot of drag on the jig. You know,
Okay.
you got to think the more mash you can put on this thing,
Right.
the better it is. Now, straight retrieve, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really like throwing anything straight retrieve. I mean, I'm gonna try to put some action on it, spinnerbaits, chatterbaits. I'm gonna give it that pop every once in a while, you know,
Right.
just in case that fish is following it. You know, that erratic action might trigger that bite. It color is a lot got to do with it, and it also depends on what you want to, like what the forage is. I guess if you're trying to target fish that are eating bluegill or shad.
Do you like a lightweight swim jig or a heavy?
I throw a half ounce.
You throw a half-ounce swim jig right there. And we'll jump on to Cody Jones's question. Do you ever throw a light jig like a 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce?
Yes. Wintertime, I'm trying to get something that falls a little slow.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Especially around docks. A lot of people don't know that you can catch some fish around docks in the wintertime.
But farmers like, oh, they're about to have a heart attack. Let me ask you this. A lot of people, when they're throwing swim jigs like the shad color or the white stuff, let's just say we do carry a couple of darker colors like that. Are you solely a light color on your swim jigs for the visibility? Okay, so you'll use a dark color. What instances, circumstances will you switch over to a darker colored swim jig?
If I'm going to a green pumpkin color swim jig, I'm trying to imitate bluegill. And the reason I'll do that is I'm going to use my college tournament on Gunnersville, for example. It was early March, and a lot of those guys were throwing white swim jigs, white chatterbaits. For example, me and my partner Dax Ebert, we picked up a green pumpkin one, and the reason is because the shad did not make it to the grass yet. So I'm basically going on what I'm throwing on what the fish are eating.
So at that time, you just said,
Yes.
okay, everybody's throwing white, they're not doing good. We're going to switch up to a more natural bluegill pattern or bluegill color, darker color like that. And you believe that was the difference in the
Oh yeah,
tournament.
100%. And the thing about it was we weren't getting but maybe 6 or 7 bites a day, but that's fine when we had 21 pounds, I think.
Right.
So we only got 6 or 7 bites a day. Even during practice, we got 6 or 7 bites one day, but we had 29 pounds.
There
during
you go.
practice.
There you go.
So,
I like that.
I mean-
Melanis, put that comment up right there. None taken. I'm a Georgia boy at heart. Just live over here now. So that's pretty. I was talking about that upper one, but that's fine too. Again, nothing against Alabama. We love the fine folks that live over there, and we do. I mean, they're Southern. They're still Dixie. Are we allowed to say Dixie anymore? I know there's a list of things I'm not allowed to say anymore.
Yeah, you can say that.
Are we good with Dixie?
Yeah, we're good.
It's still politically correct to call the South Dixie?
Sure.
I mean, my goodness, you never know what you can say. I'm not even going to say it. Paul will get on to me. I was getting ready to give you the list.
Let's not go down
And it has
that
nothing to
road.
do with cuss words. There's just certain words I
Let's not
say,
go down that rabbit hole.
and I'm not allowed to say them anymore. Who knew? Who knew? But I can say them in the comfort of my own store. So
The chicks.
I don't like the Dixie chicks, man.
Just the chicks now.
But that little blonde in the middle, she was kind of hot. I mean, she was in that kind of like,
Was that the one? She was the one that got him in all the trouble. Right?
yeah, but in a trailer park kind of way, she was hot. She was trailer park hot. She's kind of thick.
Well, I mean, that's kind of on brand, right?
Yeah, she was thick though. So anyway, screw the Tide though. Hey, listen, I know, but you can't knock the Tide. I know. What are you saying? What did you just do? You were what?
Mary Ann wonder where the best of friends.
My God, you need to go home and go to bed. You're tired.
I'm not saying you're going to get us demonetized.
Listen, I'm going to read this, Cody. I hope you're not getting me in trouble, but I'm going to read it. You ever throw a Husky Dooger in Mr. Professional? What the hell is that?
I don't know.
A Husky Dooger seems like something I do in the bathroom, but whatever. I don't know what a Husky Dooger is. Maybe it's just spelling. I don't know. You know.
You can sit here having a fishing tackle store and tell us you ain't got no.
I can tell you I don't carry a Husky Dooger and a Mr. Professional. I don't even know what they are. So, trailer park is the equivalent of crackhead sexy. I'll pass. Listen, it's called a six-pack. Called a six-packer. But anyway, I
All right, get
digress.
us on fishing for 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. We got to
10
talk
more minutes
fishing.
of fishing.
All right, the producers done got on to me like
Go.
that. So
Trailers,
trailers. Let's talk trailers.
swim jigs.
We
Jig
were.
trailer.
I was talking trailer park, but all right.
Jig trailer.
That's where I got
Jig
it from.
trailers.
Swim jig trailer.
Swim jig trailers. Let's start out there.
Let's start out there. Get us back on the young man. The 22-year-old is getting the old men back on track. So here we go. Talk about jig trailers.
All right.
Swim
well,
jig trailers in.
Let's start out with the
specifically.
crawl. The crawl, 90% of the time, what I'm trying to do with that is I'm not really trying to imitate a crawl. And what it is it helps me keep the bait up in the water column. That's what it is. I'm honestly not a big fan of throwing the swim baits on the back of them.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, if I can do that, I might as well just throw a regular swim bait.
Okay. All right.
I mean, some
So-
people like them. I do. But when I throw a swim jig, I am doing the shake. So crawl is where it's at for me. It's
You gotta
easier
have
to
those
skip.
two.
Yeah,
And you use that to keep it up in the water column.
that's right.
Okay. All right.
Displaces more water.
Yep,
Displaces
displaces more
more
water,
water.
keeps that drag on the water. You know that skirt's puffing. So, and it feels like you're working it extremely fast, but in reality, it's kind of dragging behind.
Okay. All right. So how about our jig? Let's go to the regular jig.
Regular jig.
I know
Obviously,
with a punch jig, you were talking about throwing like the beaver style stuff.
yeah,
right
beaver
there.
stuff.
So on an arky jig.
Well, let's start in the winter time.
Mhm.
You know, it's coming up. Obviously, you don't want something that's going to cause too much action. Everybody always says that, but
So you want to have a subtle action in the
so
wintertime.
especially back to that
Beaver or
3/16 quarter ounce. You know, I'm trying to imitate something falling slow. I
Mhm.
don't want like a rage crawl back there just screaming eagle behind it. You know,
Right.
so that's where I'm going to go with that. Obviously, on up in the spring, you can get a little bit more active. You know, start hopping it a little bit every once in a while. Actually, I'm going to go back to winter. Let's talk about color real quick.
Hey, you listen. It's your show, baby. Let's talk.
On a jig, if I'm throwing a jig in the wintertime, I'm going to try to add a little bit of red in it. That's just,
Was a question that I was getting ready to come back to. Are you one of those that use the red and the orange in the
yeah,
wintertime?
yes, red and orange. That's a good one to go in the wintertime.
So
for sure.
you're trying to imitate a emergent crawfish
Mhm.
that's coming out of the mud. A lot of
That's
people
right.
don't know that. And again, if you go back to YouTube and watch our podcast with Shannon O'Gorman, he talks about at about 55 degrees, the mature crayfish, crawfish, whatever you want to call them, mud bugs, whatever, they actually come out of the mud, and that's why they have that color, because they've been down there in the mud.
Right.
And at a juvenile crayfish, not all crayfish bury. A juvenile crayfish will spend the wintertime under the rocks,
That's right.
and they're the ones that retain more of the green color and stuff like that. So if you're imitating that orangish color, you're imitating a more mature
Sure. Yep.
crayfish. If you're staying with the greens and stuff, you're looking at the juvenile crayfish whatsoever like that.
I'm a big, and it's going. I'm a big mouth looker when I catch a fish in the
Oh,
wintertime.
Feel its stomach too.
I
All day.
feel this. I
Me
mean,
too.
I'm well, pretty much I'm molesting this fish because I'm
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Seriously.
I'm
That's a hell of a picture, but I got
Yeah.
you. Filling
I'm,
up the fish.
I'm feeling the fish's stomach to see if it feels crunchy. He's
Yep,
been chewing
crawl.
on crawfish. If it feels mushy, he's been eating shad.
Yep.
If his crushers are dark red, he's been crunching on crawfish.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
When you
this-
see the red
it's
on
100%.
that,
When you see the red, you know they're munching on crawfish. And a lot of times, I've had this happen on Carter's Lake more times than I can count, catching them fish deep. Is you'll bring them up and look in the back of their throat, and there's a pincher or two pinchers sticking out that's got orange just all over it from them crawfish that are that deep
Right.
in that lake.
So, what is for the wintertime coming up? At what point do you switch over to the reddish and the oranges? Do you stay natural up until a certain point, or you just automatically go with it?
I mean,
Tell me
I'm
your
gonna let
secrets
the, I'm
out
gonna
here,
let the, I'm gonna let the fish tell me what they want. To be honest with you.
Do you do that by looking at their mouths, like
Oh
you
yeah,
said?
I
So-
feel their stomach. You can tell a difference if you feel a fish's stomach. If it's soft and mushy, that's shad. 90% of the time.
That's a good point. I mean, in all the
A lot
episodes
of
we've
people
done, I've
don't
never
think
heard
about that.
anybody talk about feeling the fish's stomach
I'm
and
serious.
being able to do that.
You can pattern fish, but like say you get out there of a morning and you catch your first one, and you look in their mouth and it's dark red,
Right?
and you feel that bottom of that fish's stomach, it's crunchy. You caught that fish on a shad imitator. Well, then you turn right back.
Or a crawl imitator.
Or a crawl. Well, you caught it on a shadow imitator.
Okay.
But you turn right back around because you saw what that fish had been feeding on primarily,
I got what you're saying. And you
throw
switch
it,
over.
and you switch over to a crawl bait, and you might be able. More
Might get
times
you a
than not,
bite
you're
or two
going
more.
to get more bites, and you might get a bigger bite.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick Treadwell wants to know, how do you throw a jig on Carters? Very deep lake.
slowly.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, and this has been a discussion in the shop this week. I fished an electric only match tournament on hard labor, and the guy that won it upsized his trailer to, it was a 5-inch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did that to slow the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you choose your, like we're talking Arky, stuff like that, do you worry about the fall, or you always with a 4-inch, are you consistent, or do you switch up your trailers based upon
I
anything
switch
like
up
that?
trailers on action more than I do
The weight.
Yeah, the weight. That's I have put a bigger trailer on it, like in stained water, to get that big profile, try to get that bait known. But 90% of the time, it's all on action to me.
Okay, that's interesting. I know you got an opinion on that, Ryan. Let's keep you up for another couple minutes. What's your opinion on the trailers and the size?
Well, I pretty much only throw 3, regardless.
Right.
And I throw a Zoom Super Chunk, a double tail grub, 5-inch. I don't throw 4-inch. I just throw 5-inch.
You go big all the time.
Yeah, and like a Strike King Rage Crawl or something like that is another one. Typically, like wintertime, I'll throw either Super Chunk or I'll throw a double tail grub. Spring and stuff, I'll throw the Super Chunk or I'll throw a Rage Crawl. Summertime, I'll throw double tail grub and the Rage Crawl. And then in high pressure situations, I will actually put a like a beaver style bait on the back that doesn't have hardly any action at all, but it's a bigger profile.
Get the bait known. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't have a whole lot of this going on behind it.
Right.
I think a lot of jig fishing too has to do with presentation more than anything.
Let me ask, this came up in the shop today too. Rattles or no rattles?
I don't throw. Well, actually, I take that back. I do. I have thrown jigs with rattles.
And in what situation?
You want to know the truth? Is because a kid when I was in college was making them, and he wanted me to everybody to try them out.
And so you threw it
Yeah,
there.
so I threw it.
Did you find? One way, was it better or just made no difference? Or
I could see where it would be a good idea, but 90% of the time I'm just throwing a straight regular
you're just
jig.
throwing it straight out, Jake? All right, we got a few minutes left. I want to definitely make sure you get time to rep your sponsors right here. And so we've got Fitzgerald Rods.
Yep.
They're going to sponsor you.
Mm-hmm.
Elite Response.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is Elite Response?
Elite Response is disaster mitigation. It's Cody Parker is who it is.
Okay, well, there you go. I
Yeah.
like putting a name to someone. There you go, Cody.
Yep,
All
Cody
right.
Parker. He basically does like water climbs and stuff like that. So if your house floods or anything, he's got the machines to come
in and dehumidify it and
Yep.
all that. All right. I got TH Marine.
Yep.
And how do they?
Basically I can get, like everybody else in the country right now, everything's slow.
Right.
I can get some of their products.
Products like that. Okay, Moss Paving.
Yep. That's actually Kevin Moss, Owen Moss's boy.
Okay.
Or not boy, Owen Moss is his son.
Yeah.
Kevin Moss is the dad.
And you fished with him a lot going up to high school,
Yeah,
didn't you?
My dad is actually the boater for him.
Okay.
And I fished with him in high school and all kinds of stuff. I actually took him to Hartwell one time.
All right, that's cool. And of course, True Grit Tackle. That's
yeah.
us. Everybody knows that. One quick question: if you could improve high school fishing in any way, how would you do it?
How would I do it? Improve high school fishing? Honestly, I think there needs to be a lot more like teaching going on. Because even when I was in high school, we had our club meetings, we had all of this stuff, but we never really talked about it. We just went and signed the paper and said we went.
Right.
That's just basically what it was. Honestly, I think people need to sit down and actually talk about it. Because some of these kids actually want to do, try to do what I'm doing.
Right.
Try to fish. That's what they want to do.
That's a good answer. We don't. I've asked that question to many people, and the teaching aspect has not come up. So, is Brian Thrift still with Fitzgerald?
Yes, he is.
He is. I actually have some Brian Thrift rods up in the store. You picked one. Yeah, so we actually have that. It's
Yeah.
a cranking series.
Yeah, he's got his own line.
Uh-huh.
He's got his own skipping rod, top
That would be a
water.
heck of a staff teammate, absolutely, and it is. So we're right at about the 2-hour mark, and Ryan is tired. He's worked hard today, been through a lot. So going to end this up a little bit. Yeah, I know you're good, but we're going to do this anyway. So first of all, let me say this. We here at Fish North Georgia and True Grit Tackle are glad we have gotten to know you and your dad. We think highly, very highly of your dad, and of course, now you're in the fold. So definitely want to wish you luck in the NPFL this upcoming season. I know we'll be involved with you. It's going to be really cool to be able to follow you guys. Again, the National Professional Fishing League, you can go to the nationalprofessionalfishingleague.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's their website. That's where you watch all the live stuff. And again, you can follow them on Twitter, Facebook. I'm telling you guys, this is a trail that those of you that I know that come through here and you comment on, this is a trail, even if you don't watch professional fishing, that you want to watch. It's just different. That's the only way I can describe it. Is it's different. And again, I'm not being derogatory, but the common man can relate to this trail.
Absolutely.
So that's why I love it. I don't really get into the professional fishing. Ryan can give you every stat of anybody who's ever won anything, and that's all fine and dandy, and that's good. But I actually have never really cared that much other than watching it on the weekends when it comes on. This is a league you can follow and get behind the guys. So, again, if anybody from the National Professional Fishing League is watching tonight or at a later date, congratulations on what you guys are doing and what you're building. We look forward to watching the growth. We look forward to watching you. Definitely give them a follow, like again on Facebook and stuff. They were even kind enough. I emailed them today and asked if I could share on their social media that Logan was coming tonight. They did it for me. And I got I don't know her name. She emailed me back. She goes, absolutely, share. But they did it for me. So they were proactive. They are very involved. They're involved with the community and stuff like that. These places that they go. I know Jesse has told me stories about going to like kids camps and stuff like that. They actually show up and try to better the community that they're fishing in. And it's just, it is absolutely awesome to watch. So please go to the National Professional Fishing League and definitely give them a follow. We're going to follow Logan in 2022. I didn't harp too much on the competition between him and his dad. I know that's going to be a big storyline coming up with those guys, and it's going to put a little added pressure. Can't root for either one of you. Root for both of you. I hope you both win. And again, just thank you very much for coming. I will say this. I say this about my guests. I have guests that will come and will talk, and then I have guests that will come and will talk. Mm-hmm. And you actually have shared a lot of good information tonight, and we totally appreciate that. But again, guys, we thank you for watching the Livewell, and for all you guys that are involved, don't forget, starting Monday, I'm really going to start pushing the Nathan Hurd raffle. We need to raise this money to help this guy out, and any way you can help us is appreciated. I want to thank Jonathan for showing up, Eric for coming on Thursday nights and watching, Paul for everything that he does, keeping us straight. My right-hand man here, Ryan, who is the best jig tire.
Left-hand man.
Left-hand man tonight.
Left-hand man.
But you're my right hand. You are the absolute. He is the best jig tire in the state of Georgia. I'll put you up against anybody.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And the success of our company is riding on you. You understand that,
and I'll
right?
win.
Kurt, we hunt. I hope the Dodgers fall flat on their face. Who's that? Who's that big tall guy that plays for the Dodgers? Those skinny guy, Bellinger.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. That guy's got a bigger hole in his swing than anybody I've ever
He's
seen.
god awful, dude.
Huh?
He's god awful now.
He either
He's
hits
gotten
it-
worse and worse and
He
worse as the years
sucks.
have gone on.
He sucks.
He really has. And John Smoltz called him out last year. If you watched the Braves and the Dodgers series,
Yeah.
John Smoltz straight up called it out last year. He said Bellinger's going to start having a rough time now. The pitcher's starting to realize that he has a massive hole in his
He does.
swing.
I could throw a ball
The
by
dude
Bellinger.
batted 165 this year.
See, I told you, my stat man. That's why he's my right. This guy's a stat machine. Again, guys. Again, thank you. If you're watching us and you're not a follower of Fish North Georgia, go to the YouTube channel. We hope you hit that bell, subscribe, do all that stuff that them young kids say to do, so that you get all the notifications. You can follow Fish North Georgia on the Fish North Georgia group, and on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. we're gonna get to TikTok, and I'm telling you, Paul's getting ready to get put in charge of our Instagram account, so it's getting ready to get a lot more active. And go to True Grit Tackle, follow us, and again, if you guys want to support some of these local shops like LJ and get you some of these emerald poppers and some Lanier bait stuff like that, and some of the other fine companies like Georgia Blade and stuff like that, you can go to fishnorthgeorgia.com. And we support the FX rods. I do have Fitzgerald, got Abu, but guys, again, we appreciate you allowing us to just get on here every Thursday night and just shoot the bull with you guys and have some fun in this crazy world where everybody is just so daggum pissed off at each other. It's nice to have a couple hours on a Thursday to just hang out with guys and meet fine guys like Logan. We hope you'll follow him. You got a Facebook page?
Yeah, I do. Just Logan Millsaps. My Instagram is Logan Millsaps Fishing. You can follow me there.
Logan Millsaps Fishing on Instagram. So again, guys, we'll be back next Thursday with another great episode, another great guest. Thank you, Nofo Brewery, for all you do. And actually, if you're interested in becoming a sponsor or advertising on the Livewell, hit me up on Facebook, shoot me a messenger, give me a call, 678-283-6700. And again, we appreciate the comments and every one of you guys that are involved.
Absolutely.
It makes the
That
show
makes it
so
easy.
much easier when you guys are involved asking questions and stuff like that, and also giving us suggestions on companies and stores where we can get True Grit into. So for you guys that did that tonight, thank you very much. And our goal for the wintertime, again, we'll do the serious stuff like Nathan heard, but somebody's got to get a picture of LJ catching a fish on a jig. All right, we actually got to convert LJ over to the jig and get him away from them fruity worms and that drop shot.
So you know, I caught one out from underneath LJ's dock on one of our jigs the other day.
That's right. That is actually true. So there you go. And
money
again,
hole.
listen, you heard it here. Murphy, Andrew Murphy caught a fish up at Chatoog on one of our fall crawl jigs that actually had another fall crawl jig broke off in its mouth. So I'm telling you, they hit that fall crawl, and that is a hot jig color coming up for the wintertime. But again, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. You guys have a safe and blessed week. Come see us at the shop. We'll be open this Saturday, Friday and Saturday. Come see us through the week. If you're rained out and you can't work out there, just come sit and talk to us. We like doing that, and we like, sharing good things and the grace of God with you and all that stuff. So we appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you next week.